Hello, 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 everybody, and welcome to the stream. How's everybody doing today? I am gonna get into it here with some Vintage Cube. Been having a lot of fun with that so far, and want to have some more fun, so let's do it. What do we get to start off with? There we go, baby. A Black Lotus. Finally. We've been waiting to have a Black Lotus draft. This is... haven't had an Ancestral draft either, but have not yet had a Black Lotus draft. Now whatever we do, it's going to be sweet. We can feel free to draft some stupid bad cards now too, and our deck will probably still be quite insane. Let's do it up here. Alrighty. Pack 2, what do we have? Grim Tutor. That's a pretty good one. Dak Faden. I've actually been thinking I may have been undervaluing Dak Faden in this cube because stealing artifacts is pretty good. Grim Tutor, Polluted Delta. I don't know, I like Grim Tutor a lot. There's also a Dark Ritual in this pack. I like Grim Tutor more, and then I'll try to wheel the Dark Ritual. Passing Dak Faden. I mean, a multicolor card... he's probably still good. But yeah, let's take Grim Tutor here. This lets us go into Reanimate. It lets us go into some other crazy stuff as well. We can just grab the Seething Song and start really trying to storm off. But I think we are going to want mana fixing as well. So Bloodstained Mire, Underground Sea, both pretty strong. And we are in black already, theoretically. Don't really want to try to Black Lotus out of Spectral Procession, but honestly, that would still be pretty good. Let's just grab Underground Sea. Dark Slick Shores can keep the Underground Sea route going. Mox Diamond's also pretty good. Wasteland's cool. Wasteland Crucible could be a cool combo. Strip Mine's a lot better than Wasteland in Cube, I think. I'm just going to take Dark Slick Shores. We'll find some blue and black cards to cast eventually, right? Feel like we already kind of did it. We already have the Black Lotus. So anything else that I could grab from here on out, I'm not going to sweat it too much. All right. I really like Oath of Druids. I also really like Reanimating. I feel like Reanimating is just super powerful. Oath of Druids is a little bit restrictive. What else could we do? I'm not going to take Bone Shredder or Wall of Blossoms or Lightning Mauler. Then there's a bunch of lands. Alright. I think Reanimator's pretty good. I'll take Animate Dead. Dreadbore, Vampire Nighthawk. This pack's definitely not insane. Gideon of the Trials. Let's take either Vindicate or Vampire Nighthawk. Or Dreadbore. Honestly, Dreadbore could work too. You know what? I'll take Dreadbore. Because I think I'm more likely to be black than... Or I'm more likely to be red than white. It said there's a Shambling Vent in this pack. Ophiomancer's kind of silly. Urborg is fixing. Alright, I'll take Urborg. What do we have here? Buried Alive as part of our reanimation combo. Watery Grave is just more mana fixing. Turn 1, Black Lotus Necro. Is that good? I don't know. Necro still scares me. I'm going to take Buried Alive. Exhume seems good. Now we just have to find some fatties. And I think we'll get there. Alright, so let's put removal right here. Let's put reanimation spells right here. And this is looking pretty solid. So we can go Nahiri if we wind up like Jeskai. Obviously, that's not where our mana is currently putting us. Black Lotus Brimaz, I think, is actually pretty fantastic. But Nahiri is just a more powerful card. I'll take Brimaz. I'll take whatever they give me, really. Okay, well, we could take Oblivion Ring or Spectral Procession. Oblivion Ring isn't a horrible removal spell. Spectral Procession is kind of silly, but maybe okay. I don't really like Brain Maggot. You know what? Brain Maggot's fine. Changed my mind. And Porcelain Legionnaire. Alright, so I'm going to put these cards over here. All these bad cards. Brain Maggot is bad with Oath of Druids. Definitely going to take Oath of Druids here. That card always wheels. Turn 1, Gideon of the Trials. That seems pretty terrible, but I'll take it. And then what did we wheel? There were some good cards still for our deck in the last pack. Shrine of Burning Rage is not among them, though. Alright, let's cut the Shrine. I think we're going to play Oath regardless. Could take a Tendrils. Could take a Splinter Twin. Blue definitely dried up, as it is apt to do in this cube. Kind of like Dark Petition as another tutor. I think we can make Dark Petition work in a deck like this. I don't think I'm going to play any of this shit. I feel like I need a lot to make Tendrils work, and even if I can, it's definitely not a first pick card here. Alright, let's grab Dark Petition. Batterskull's a sweet card, but Liliana is great in Reanimator. Then there's also a Sphinx of the Steel Wind as a reanimation target. Turn 1, Black Lotus Liliana seems fantastic. This Liliana is also good. But I like this Liliana a lot more. A lot more. Alright, let's grab Liliana the Veil here. Misty Rainforest would have actually been mana fixing. So that's reasonable to consider as well. Because it could get green mana or it could get Underground Sea. So it's a green-black dual land. Massacre Worm or Shriek Maul. Well, if we're going to play Oath of Druids, we probably don't want to play Shriek Maul. Could play Oath of Nissa. It gets Liliana. Or we could just get Massacre Worm with our Oath of Druids. They're probably both reasonable options to wheel. So we could just take, like, Balance or something like that right now. Alright, Bitter Blossom is a good card. It's bad with Oath of Druids, but it's just a good card. Hypnotic Spectre, the turn 1. Oh, that's what didn't wheel. Dark Ritual. Hypnotic Spectre is good with Black Lotus. Looter Ilkur is just good in general. Might just want Dimir Signet, even though I don't have any blue cards yet. Looter Ilkur is definitely not going to wheel. Probably Bitter Blossom won't either. We could just take Crucible here. Though we are low on fetch lands for sure. We're definitely going to wheel something from this pack, but I'm just going to take Dimir Signet. I'm okay with that. That's fine. Alright, Entomb is another Buried Alive. That's pretty good. Now we can go turn 1, Entomb, Animate Dead. We just have to find something to Entomb. That looks good to me. There's also a Blooming Marsh, which seems really powerful. Maybe it'll wheel. I doubt it. Go for the Throat's also a reasonable card. All right, Mesmeric Fiend. I don't think we want to be on the Mesmeric Fiend plan. We can take Wooded Foothills, and that way if we wheel Blood Crypt, we have a dual land. Or we can just take Living Death. It's a Wrath effect that also reanimates anything we've discarded so far. I like that. I'm going to cut Brain Maggot. All right, Toxic Deluge is another Wrath effect. I think I'm going to take Toxic Deluge over Oona's Prowler. Turn 1, Black Lotus, Toxic Deluge. That seems insane. All right, maybe not. So we have 2 tutors, 2 reanimation spells, 2 cards to bin. 2 cards to bin cards from your deck, 1 card to bin fatties from your hand, 2 Wraths, and 1 reanimation target / Wrath. I draft Reanimator a lot in Vintage Cube, but I think it's sweet. Alright, Duplicant isn't a super powerful card. Could just take like Spell Pierce. We're already kind of splashing it for free. I don't know if we'll actually want to play it. Magus of the Will is okay. It's bad with Oath... Oh wait, it's okay with Oath of Druids actually. Because you mill a bunch of cards with Oath of Druids. Alright, alright. We could maybe make Magus work here. So putting cards like Brain Maggot in your deck are kind of bad when you're playing Oath of Druids, because it means you might hit them. But if we can make it so that Magus of the Will is a live draw, like Magus is going to put a bunch of creatures in our... Or not creatures, it's only going to put spells into our bin. We can also Buried Alive the Magus so that the Oath is better sometimes. I'm not super excited about it, obviously, but might not be as much of a miss as you'd think. Alright, Hallowed Fountain, Emrakul, Force Spike. I think I'm just going to take Emrakul. It's a flying trample protection from instants. That's a pretty solid reanimation target. We're not going to get the Mind Control trigger or the Mind Slaver trigger, but it's still decent. I can't remember if we had much of anything to combo with the Hallowed Fountain. Banishing Light is just mediocre, and Force Spike isn't really great. I'd much rather play Spell Pierce, and I don't even think Spell Pierce is better than Magus of the Will, clearly, so... Emrakul, you know what? It's actually pretty decent that wheeled. This is a pretty good reanimation target, and so is Sphinx of the Steelwind. Yeah, these are both good reanimation targets because they have protection on them. So this is pro red and green, which isn't that relevant, but it's also a flying vigilance lifelink first striker. And then Emrakul having protection from instants. There's still a lot of ways to answer it, but that makes it strong. And if we can get these cards out there on turn 1, turn 2, that's going to be good for us. So we can grab Sweltering Suns as a cycling potential Wrath. I think I like that, though. Ancient Grudge could also be very playable if we go into red. Alright. Try out Ancient Grudge. It's also a combo with Oath of Druids, because if you mill it, then you can flash it back. And, like, maybe in some awkward situations, we're just discarding it with Liliana and then flashing it back. But that's pretty reasonable, too, actually. Like, it means that your Liliana gains you card advantage. Magus of the Wheel as well. Well, it makes sense that this card wheeled around. It's kind of okay for setting up big reanimation targets. Each player bins their hand, and then we'll redraw into some reanimation spells is the idea. But I'm going to take Hypnotic Spectre. Oh, never mind. We've got Oath of Druids. Maybe that's horrible. I'm not sure. I'm going to take Blooming Marsh because I don't think we're going to play Ancient Grudge. And Blooming Marsh is good. Yeah, maybe I'm not so sure on Hippie. Magus of the Wheel I think I can get behind, but I don't think I want to go all in as far as Hypnotic Spectre. Still have a lot of blue mana that's free. I have 3 blue mana if we happen to find any blue spells, but like maybe that's just going to help us potentially cast Sphinx of the Steel Wind in some really late games. Alright, and we got Oona's Prowler too, so now we've got 2 cards that let us discard from hand, 2 really big fatties, 2 mid-rangey cards, 2 Wraths, 2 Reanimates, 2 Entombs. One other reason that it's good to just have blue mana, though, is in case we open up the Ancestral or the Time Walk, we are definitely going to grab them. So, yeah, a few players here are still making some picks. Just waiting on them. I'm all done my picks for pack 1 here. Alrighty. So pack 3. We have Gifts Ungiven, Golgari Signet, Packrat, and Diabolic Edict. Well, Packrat is good. It's not great with Oath of Druids, but it is still really good. Maybe we're just not going to play Oath of Druids, though, because we could play Hypnotic Spectre and Packrat instead. I don't know what our other options even are. I mean, we could just look for cards that are good with Black Lotus, which means we could take, like, a Chandra, just to every once in a while be able to Chandra Black Lotus. It's Tooth and Nail and Golgari Signet. I mean, I think we're going to play Golgari Signet regardless here, so I don't hate that one either. I think I want to play Oath of Druids is the problem. Which means I think I don't want to play Oona's Prowler if possible. Alright, Kozilek Butcher of Truth needs a instant speed reanimation spell. Here's the Burial Rites. I don't think I'm going to get the gifts to wheel, but I'm going to go for it here. I'm going to take Burial Rites. There's also a Phyrexian Arena, which is good with Lotus, a Bayou, which is good. Kozilek's pretty good just with Oath of Druids. And then there's a Grave Titan. There's a lot of really good cards in this pack. Is Gifts Ungiven even just better than just grabbing this Oath of Druids here? I think Gifts Ungiven is like reasonable to wheel. There's only one other player that's going to see this Burial Rites, or that has seen the Burial Rites. Also, just like Clone is fantastic. I'm going to try out Burial Rites, though. At the very least, I've yet to draft it previously. Alright, I am going to take Emrakul. That is too good of a card to not try to make work here. Emrakul, Oath of Druids. That means we're going to cut Oona's Prowler. That means I'm going to be happy about not taking the Packrat. And I'm going to bid Massacre Worm. There's also a Gristlebrand for us? Jeez. Okay, well, I have to take Gristlebrand. That is also one of the best reanimation targets. Let's grab the Gristle Daddy. I might even be able to cut Massacre Worm at this point. We already have 2 other Wraths, and we're diluting our Oath of Druids potentially by playing Massacre Worm. It is also cool because it's like a castable reanimation target. Sometimes you reanimate it, sometimes you just cast it. One thing that's awkward is turn 1, if we can find like like the Black Lotus for Reanimate Emrakul isn't great. If we can find like an instant speed reanimation spell. Alright, well, no instant speed reanimation spell to be found, but what we could get is a Maelstrom Pulse. I think we're pretty solidly in green at this point. We can also get Ancient Tomb. I'm trying to figure out how good is Ancient Tomb in this deck. Let you play a Golgari Signet, but we don't have that much to do with colorless mana. And we have Burial Rites. It definitely does come at a cost, the Ancient Tomb. It's also Torrential Gearhulk, which can probably be cast off only Black Lotus. Alright, I'm into Ancient Tomb. No, I still like my sorting algorithm here. I just want to put Massacre Worm on the screen. I could also put Oath of Druids alongside this, this stuff here. Alright, Collective Brutality is a pretty good one. Recurring Nightmare, I don't think does anything in this deck. Now, we don't have any creatures to sacrifice. Collective Brutality is pretty fantastic. It is a Duress as well as a way to bin a creature from your hand. Jace Vryn's Prodigy is also pretty sweet. Garruk Apex Predator might be sweet with our Black Lotus, but I'm going to take Collective Brutality here. The more cards that we have that discard threats from our hand means the more fatties we can comfortably play. I doubt Kozilek is going to wheel here, but we still have 2 more picks before that even happens. Would potentially like to get the Gifts Ungiven, but I'll take whatever we can find. Inquisition of Kozilek is reasonable. Leovold, Emissary of Trest is pretty funny. I keep debating Lightning Greaves in these decks. The cool part about it is Shroud. Though most of our creatures have built-in protection already. Protection from colored spells, protection from instants, protection from red and green, and pay 7 life, draw 7 cards. So our cards are kind of safe already. I think I like Inquisition of Kozilek as just a removal spell of sorts. It's a lot better than Brain Maggot because, one, it'll take the card forever, but also it'll just we won't be able to hit it with Oath of Druids here. It'll also fuel our Spell Mastery, which we might actually need more to help fuel. Though if we just have if we Buried Alive or Entomb beforehand, we can just immediately Dark Petition. Let's use the full card name there. So, Heartbeat, nah, not really. I think I'm just going to take Godless Shrine, so that way we have a free white source here for the Sphinx of the Steelwind. Because everything else in the deck is black or green. Could take Badlands for Ancient Grudge and Dreadbore, but I think Godless Shrine is maybe a little bit better. I don't know. They're pretty close. Player passing. Oh, I guess, yeah, this is where the holdup is. Still, no problem. Pack Rat wheeled around the table, but so did Gifts Ungiven. Alright, I'm going to take Gifts Ungiven. I have 3 blue sources, and we can play this card as early as turn 2 go and get the Burial Rites, and oh, that's another great reason to play Godless Shrine. Okay, alright. There's other weird things that we can do with Gifts Ungiven, but I think it's going to be good. Alright, fix our mana or Phyrexian Arena. Phyrexian Arena also kind of fixes your mana. I can't play it till turn 3, though. Unless, of course, I Black Lotus it. I think I just want Bayou. I think that's going to help us a little bit more. I'd probably take like a City of Brass or something at this deck at this point. We are 4 colors, but I think we're going to be okay. Like, our black mana is great, so that part's really good. Non-land permanent or monocolored creature. What's better? Would we want the opportunity to kill a non-land permanent? I think I just want ultimate price for the aggro decks. Never mind, I'm just going to play Hero's Downfall. Hero's Downfall's a pretty good one. I don't need that much spot removal. Stirring Wildwood can help splash 2 different cards. I'll take it. I think I'll play it too. It lets us just trim ever so slightly on our green and white sources. So like now maybe, I mean we might even just play all swamps here even so, but we're not going to have that many mana problems. We can probably throw in like 1 basic forest. Do we play this? I don't think so. But it's pretty nasty. And Cast Out I don't think is horrible either. I almost took Cast Out the first time this pack was going around thinking it's a reasonable white card to try to cast here. So this is our deck. This is what we're working with. Let's throw all the fatties onto one pile here, just so they are easier to look at. Well, I'm just going to put Garruk here. He'll be out of position. So how many lands do we have? We have 8 lands, which makes this, if we count Black Lotus as a land, which I'm not sure if we do. I think if we just cut Garruk, this deck is good, right? Good to go. 8 lands. This would be a 16-land deck, that means. Yeah, we could add 8 more lands to it. 16 lands plus a Black Lotus. Oh, I don't think I want to play Cast Out, actually. Cast Out does cycle, but cycling off your splash color is pretty funky. The main reason I don't think we have to play Garruk Apex Predator is because Sphinx of the Steelwind and Gristlebrand are also actually both castable too, especially with Black Lotus. So we can just plan on casting those. We don't have to worry about a random-ass Planeswalker here, though. Card's pretty powerful. Yeah, gonna play 2 Wrath effects. Alright, I like this. Let's add lands. Does it put us on 1 of each basic? Yes, but no forest. What if we do this? How many black sources do we have? Very cool. What's up, friend? Just saw your text message. This deck looks pretty fantastic. Oh, I guess we have Bayou and Blooming Marsh is the reason not to play Basic Forest. Bayou, Blooming Marsh, Stirring Wildwood, Golgari Signet. Alright, how many black sources do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 12, 13, 14. But 11, that still means 2/3 of our lands are black sources. It's probably enough. We do have Liliana of the Veil that we want to make sure that we can cast, and also Gristlebrand. But I think that this deck is good. I mean, it's got Black Lotus. It's obviously great. Question is, should we really be running Cast Out? Is it better just to play Ultimate Price? Splashing your cycling cards, super awkward. I also kind of want to just go hippie Lotus, but that seems really bad in a deck that has Oath of Druids in it. I could even see cutting Massacre Worm, to be honest, just to play another land. Thing is, all of our other threats are fantastic. And we have 2 Wraths, Toxic Deluge and Living Death. Something like that. Or a land. Another swamp. We actually do really need white mana. 3 white sources. That might be enough. Yeah, it's going to suggest we had a swamp. I think swamp might be better than Massacre Worm. You know what? If we see we're playing against a creature-heavy deck, we might board in Massacre Worm and Ultimate Price. The Oath of Druids is fantastic. Like, we're arguably making our deck better against heavy creature decks by boarding out Massacre Worm, because that means our Oath of Druids is just going to hit Emrakul, Gristlebrand, or Emrakul, or Sphinx of the Steelwind. Yeah, I like this. I like this a lot. And 17 lands. Let's not get too greedy here. And let's try this out. Yeah, this deck looks sweet indeed. I'm going to close out a Hearthstone here. Is Twitch.tv down? I think I'm still streaming, but I can't connect to Twitch right now. Yeah, it looks like just Twitch might be down for a minute here. Well, I'll click the play button anyways. Twitch might be down. Let me know. I don't know how you could even let me know if you're watching. Yeah, so it looks like Twitch is just down for a moment. I'm going to hang out for a second. If you're watching on YouTube, apologies. Guess there's no way for anybody to tell me. Maybe my friend that is... Okay. All right. So, looks like if you are currently watching on Twitch, you'll be able to watch. Just new people can't join because the Twitch website is down. But that's fine, and if people miss any of it, they can catch it back on YouTube. But unfortunately, I can't see chat. Actually, that might not be true. I might be able to access the chat API still. If anybody wants to test that, try typing in chat, and I'll see if it still pops up on the screen. But for now, we won the die roll, so we get to be on the play. We have a turn 2 Oath of Druids. That alone is enough for me to keep it. Alrighty, turn 2 Oath of Druids. I don't think my opponent's going to play a turn 1 creature in a blue deck. Nope, they're going to play an Ancestral. Sounds good. Well, Liliana's going to be good against their deck if we can find another black mana to turn our Liliana online. And we can also use Liliana to discard Emrakul back in to make our Oath of Druids have a little bit better odds here. Emrakul does absolutely nothing in our deck Okay. Sweet. And I can see the chat coming through. Try refreshing Twitch every once in a while. Oh, I'm going to auto-yield to this Ancestral here. Alright, well now we can Oath of Druids into a Baleful Strix. Sounds good to me. Opponent has to now kill their own Baleful Strix. Which, honestly, they might be able to do, and they'd have a reasonable success at doing that. We're 50-50. We're either going to hit Gristlebrand or Sphinx of the Steelwind. Alright, Mesmeric Fiend is probably going to take Liliana, but this means we get to go and grab Gristlebrand and the other one here. Gristlebrand will immediately draw us out of this. We get to Gristlebrand, draw 7. That'll be great. Play the Liliana. Alright, they're going to take our Entomb from us, but that's fine. It's just on the Fiend. Let's reanimate a Gristlebrand. Targeting our opponent here. Oath of Druids actually stopped by Leyline of Sanctity. Alright, we hit Sphinx of the Steelwind, but we also grabbed a Dimir Signet. What's in the bin? The Gifts Ungiven. Oh, right. I guess Unburial Rites is the only relevant card for us to mill, actually. We also have to worry about milling our sources here. So I think next turn I'm just going to play Liliana and discard Emrakul. I'm also going to get to draw 7 cards or 14 cards for free. So I will have some other options of plays to make. Choose target opponent. We'll choose this one. Alright, there's Gristlebrand. So what's interesting is, like, beginning of each player's up. I gotta read this card to figure out exactly how these rules interactions are gonna work. Like, can I Hero's Downfall my own creature in response? So if you miss with Oath of Druids, you don't mill yourself, right? You reveal your deck to your opponent, and then... Oh, you can also just say no. It's not mandatory that you have to do it. Pretty sure I crashed with Sphinx of the Steelwind here. I don't know, there's a lot of options. Maybe I just Liliana and start upticking here. Yeah, alright, let's Liliana and start upticking. Okay, never mind. It's gonna get counterspelled. Well, that makes a lot of sense, too. I'm not gonna swing with Sphinx of the Steelwind just yet. Think we might wind up having better plays. Oh, you know what? Yeah, I missed the stop. I should have tried to discard cards. Like, I could have just drawn 7 with Gristlebrand, and then I would have had to discard Emrakul. This deck's pretty complicated here. Also insanely powerful. I've got 13 points of lifelink damagers on the board. Oh, wait, how many card types are in my bin with Emrakul? 6 of them? That is actually super relevant. I've got Artifact, no creatures, but Artifact, Planeswalker, Sorcery, Enchantment. Holy shit, Cast Out is great with Emrakul. Sorcery, Enchantment, Instant. This is also an enchantment. And a land, if I didn't say that one already. Okay. This is pretty great. My opponent Ancestraled, but we have Gristlebrand. Alright, so I'm going to reveal my deck to my opponent, right? Or I just click no. Actually, it's not even going to trigger. Right, it's not even going to trigger. So if I Hero's Downfall Baleful Strix, what's awkward is then my opponent gets to reanimate a creature. My opponent can also counter this. We have to do something. My opponent's plan, I'm pretty sure here, is to start mind controlling me. Which I think we can play around as well. We're going to discard Emrakul end of turn here. Alright, so let's clear this so that way we can at least smack. I'm not sure. There's a lot of different ways to play this game right now. Alright, they are going to protect their Baleful Strix. We are. Oh, they are going to ice our Sphinx. Alright. Ice our Vigilance creature. Yeah, we really don't need Entomb when we can just put our entire deck in the graveyard this easily. Alright, let's pay 7 life, go back down to 20. We have lethal creatures on board. My opponent's going to get an Oath trigger, and then they might try to do some other fancy stuff. I'd like to try to Inquisition my opponent here as well. So, like, Darksilic Shores into Inquisition. Yeah, that seems good. I guess Blooming Marsh is better, because we might want to use Stirring Wildwood next turn. So let's go Blooming Marsh, Inquisition them. So, okay. How many card types do they have in their graveyard? It doesn't tell us. Interesting. Artifact, creature, instant, sorcery, land. Artifact, creature, instant, sorcery, land. Emrakul costs 8 mana. Yeah, they don't want to play Oona's Prowler. They probably don't even want to try to Mind Twist us. That seems equally foolish. I'll just take their Mind Twist, though. And then we will move to our discard here. I'm fine with just this. Let's discard Emrakul. Let's discard Urborg and Swamp. And then let's shuffle Emrakul in. Back into the deck with ye. So now my opponent's going to mill a bunch of stuff. They have Riftwing Cloudskate in hand. But if they play Riftwing Cloudskate, then we get to put an Emrakul onto the battlefield. And it won't just be an Emrakul. It will be the Emrakul. Aeon's Torn, not the Promised End. Obviously, Promised End being super expensive for us now. Alright. Another Brain Maggot. That's fine. My opponent also has to do something. And we saw their hand. They have a Kalitas and a... Yeah, they have to Riftwing Cloudskate, or we have 13 damage worth of flying lifelink attackers. So my opponent's getting a lot of information here, though so did we. They have a Repeal in Azorius Signet and an Emrakul of their own. But yeah, the biggest thing here is that we just have flyers. They have to interact with these flyers. So my opponent is going to be forced into returning Gristlebrand in my hand. Yeah, sure. They get to take my Collective Brutality. But they're going to have to bounce my Gristlebrand with Riftwing Cloudskate, which means I get an Emrakul the Aeon's Torn out onto the battlefield. Unless they can cast their own Emrakul. No, they're still only on 5 card types. So yeah, here comes Riftwing Cloudskate. They could bounce their own Mesmeric Fiend, so that way my Oath doesn't trigger. No, they're going to bounce Gristlebrand. That makes sense. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Can smack for 1. That is fine. Oh, I maybe should have drawn more with Gristlebrand in response. Oh, well. You know what? Actually, I like not drawing, because what if Emrakul is in the top? You're kidding me. I have no cards left in my deck. Oh my gosh, Emrakul killed me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I can play Emrakul the Promised End. But then I need to find a way to not die. Emrakul was the second to last card in my deck. I was going to say that's definitely a way that we could potentially lose this game here. Shit. Wait, maybe we can mill my opponent out. Okay. I might be able to mill my opponent. I want them to chump block here. They probably won't. We want to trigger their oath 2 turns in a row here. Alright, so get ready for some crazy Magic the Gathering, dudes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, plus 6 card types in the bin. Wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, that's not enough. 6 plus 6 equals 12. I don't know why I thought Ancient Tomb was going to give us 11 mana here. What can I do? I can Burial Rites, nothing, because this Emrakul's in my hand. Yeah, I can't kill it because I don't have access to anything. I was thinking I might be able to take an extra turn. I'm just double checking this here. Yeah, this is 6 lands and 6 card types. Wowie. Okay. Maybe my opponent won't realize it. I probably should have just... That was the play, I think. Play fast and hope my opponent doesn't realize that we are dead. Oh, Oona's Prowler. Now if we only had a way to bounce Emrakul. Come on, bounce my Emrakul. What do I do? What do I do? Oh, God. Yep. Alright, this deck was a little bit too powerful for our own good here. What can we change? Well, we can throw in Massacre Worm so we have more creatures to hit. Ultimate Price could free... I think I like Ultimate Price as a way to free my creatures from living death. My opponent is also a Reanimator deck, so I think I don't want Living Death. And when I said Living Death, I meant to say Mesmeric Fiends. So we can free our cards from Mesmeric Fiends here. We can also use... No, we can't use Ultimate Price to kill our Emrakul because Emrakul is, like, impossible to kill. Alright. Alright, looks like Twitch is maybe back online. Alright, Twitch is back online. Sweet. Alright, so now I can monitor chat a little bit easier. Are we going to do anything else? Massacre Worm actually seems pretty decent against my opponent's deck. I'll take my chances with just this, though. Alright, we get to be on the play. Do we have Black Lotus? We do. So we can turn 1 Gifts and turn 3 Stirring Wildwood. We can also Gifts for everything. I think we have to use the Lotus for Gifts. But the other interesting thing that we get to do is, like, potentially we could Liliana to help us discard our cards. I think I'm going to go Stirring Wildwoods here. Yeah, we're going to go turn 2 Gifts, turn 3 on Burial Rites, I think is the plan. Do I want to play around Mesmeric Fiend? I can't really. Alright, I'll play Stirring Wildwood and pass the turn. You just have to dodge Mesmeric Fiend for one turn. Ancestral Visions again? Okay. So... yeah, let's play Swamp. Let's play Black Lotus. And our plan here is to end step Black Lotus, upkeep Ancient Tomb, reanimate. And then what are we going to reanimate? Probably just always Gristlebrand. That's fine. We'll let them take our Liliana or our Toxic Deluge to start off with. Alrighty, so what are we reanimating, dudes? Target our opponent. We get Burial Rites, and then we get either Sphinx. No, Sphinx is just worse than Gristlebrand. I think we just go for Gristlebrand here. Where is Burial Rites? Anybody see it? Burial Rites, where you at? Okay, oh, it's alphabetically sorted. Okay. Interesting. Gristlebrand, Burial Rites, and say done. Those cards go into our graveyard. Perfect, just double checking. Then let's play Ancient Tomb and let's Burial Rites targeting Gristlebrand. Alright, that's a pretty good turn 3, I have to say. Turn 3 Gristlebrand. Let's draw 7. Do I want to try to discard a card that I can reanimate next turn? I think I do. Alright, well now I have to hold on to Emrakul if I want to... Actually, I don't have to. I'm going to bin Emrakul the Aeon's Torn, and I'm just going to hang on to Entomb here. So let's discard this. Let's discard our Swamps. Dark Shlick Shores can go. Swamp can go. Swamp can go. Actually, Urborg isn't great here. Do we need Buried Alive? Not when we have Entomb. Maybe it lets us play around discard or something. Cast Out, we can use it on their Oblivion Ring if that's what their answer is. I don't think I'm going to need the Toxic Deluge here, but it seems worth just hanging on to. Actually, no, I'll get rid of it. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We have blue mana off Dimir Signet, and also no more blue cards in the deck. Sounds good to me. Oh, I have to discard one more card? Fuck it. I'll just discard Dimir Signet. Our life total's actually pretty low because we also used an Ancient Tomb. But now we have Gristlebrand in play. Next turn we get to Entomb. I guess we don't get to Dark Petition anymore. Baleful Strix. Alright, that's a pretty good one. I'm just going to Hero's Downfall it and smack my opponent for 7. We did leave ourselves in a place where our... oh, you know what? I can Collective Brutality it. That's got to be better. Collective Brutality, discarding Blooming Marsh, and I'll take a look at their hand as well. Oh, wait. Cancel. 2 modes. targeting them and Baleful Strix. We're going to discard... Godless Shrine. I don't know what the hell this does. Oh, wow, this actually would have been really good. All right, we leave my opponent with Kalitas and a bunch of lands. Okay, yeah, that would have put Gristlebrand on top of our deck. I think I've played this game a little bit fast and loose, but trying to be a little bit cognizant of the clock. Also, like when you just have Gristlebrand in play, you can afford to play a little bit looser, but I've definitely made more than a few mistakes here, but we've got a Gristlebrand, so hope you guys will all forgive me. Hero's Downfall or Cast Out seems pretty reasonable here. We also get to draw 7. Yeah, we're going to draw 7 here as well. All right, let's draw 7 and then figure out what the hell we're doing. Put my opponent down to 6. We're going to go up to 4. Alrighty. Black Lotus is pretty good, isn't it? So we can just entomb anything. We can Liliana my opponent's Kalitas. Do I have a reanimation spell? I do, but it's Dark Petition. Okay, well, we can entomb, and then after we entomb, our Dark Petition gets us more mana. Alright, so let's start by entombing. I think I went Sphinx of the Steel Wind. What else was in my opponent's hand? Nothing. Okay, so we could Inquisition them to see if they drew something as well, but I don't even think that they will. Yeah, let's just grab Emrakul. It's bigger. It's badder. Alrighty. Dark Petition here. My bad. Did not tap correctly. I tapped one of these for the wrong color. You know what I can also do? Let's crack Black Lotus. This will make it easier to cast too. Spell Mastery, yeah, 2 or more instants and sorceries, so we do have Spell Mastery. So we go and we find a reanimation spell, and this is going to let us know exactly how much more mana we're working with as well. Don't want to grab Exhume, so we're going to grab Animate Dead. And then we can Animate Dead. Emrakul could also Animate Dead Baleful Strix. That's pretty funny. I can Cycle Cast Out. I think what I'm going to do here, the plan is to ink my opponent and then Liliana make them sacrifice Kalitas. Alright, this is a pretty good turn. We got the Mind Twist. Get the Liliana. There we go. Sack a dude. That's quite the turn. Gristlebrand, when you have Black Lotus in your deck, that's something important to consider. My opponent is going to get an Ancestral Visions here, so they're going to have a bunch of cards, but they have to deal with an Emrakul and a Gristlebrand. They're going to need Damnation, and even if they have that, we've still got a pretty good deal of resources here. Alright, so for Game 3, do we want to change anything? I don't think so. I don't think we want to mess up our Oath of Druids, considering our opponent has to play mediocre creatures in order to beat us. So, no Massacre Worm, you're not going to come in. And we're just going to do the same thing and draw Black Lotus and win again. Black Lotus is pretty good, but I think we could have had, like, some other better plays, right? Like, Buried Alive into the Animate Dead and stuff. We're going to keep. Like, that's a much better Black Lotus hand. You go turn 1, Stirring Wildwood, turn 2, Black Lotus, Buried Alive, Animate Dead. Just have to dodge counter magic here. I'm going to go Stirring Wildwood tapped. I think we're going to cycle cast out here. We already have everything that we need. This is quite a nifty deck, Drugsy. Thank you. So my opponent does have a counter spell, and that's the only thing that we've seen, but also Mesmeric Fiend. Duress. Well, that's a pretty good one. My opponent is probably going to Duress our Animate Dead here. Buried Alive is not super powerful. Oh, they're just going to go for Gifts Ungiven. Okay. That means, okay, they have another discard spell for Buried Alive this time. Okay. Oath of Druids is really strong. Let's cycle cast out. If we hit Black Lotus, that doesn't really do anything for us. We could also cycle cast out end of turn. It's not like I have any 1-drops I'd want to play. Maybe I'd Inquisition my opponent if I drew it. Yeah, let's get it. Maybe we'll play an Inquisition if we hit it here. That's about it. Golgari Signet. Alright, well, that's a good card. But it's not going to change anything for us this turn. So we also need to hope that the card that my opponent... the creature that my opponent plays doesn't take our Oath of Druids. Because we have seen Mesmeric Fiend and... what was the other one? Mesmeric Fiend and the enchantment one, whatever it's called. I don't remember. Alrighty. Not doing too much. Entomb is a great draw. That's probably our best draw. Entomb and then like Liliana of the Veil, I'd say. Opponent is going to ice our Underground Sea. That's fine. I don't have any more use for blue mana, I don't think. Alright, Black Lotus. That means Gristlebrand is now a live draw. Our hand's fine against Mesmeric Fiend. I'm gonna... If my opponent plays a Mesmeric Fiend and takes Black Lotus, that's actually great. So, we'll keep it. It also, like, maybe we will, okay. So, they're going to Brain Maggot. That's the name of it. They have to take Oath of Druids. If they don't take Oath of Druids, then we will just win. What's up, Kaleri? How you doing? And now we just need to draw Gristlebrand. Let's do it. We can also cast Sphinx here. I'll cast it if I draw it. Grim Tutor. Okay, well, we can do it next turn. That's still pretty good. Oh, wait. I have Black Lotus. I can just animate dead Gristlebrand. I don't even need my Black Lotus. Oh, shit. This deck's insane. Okay. Grim Tutor is just OP. We're going to Grim Tutor. We're going to get Entomb. Then I'm going to cast Entomb, put a Gristlebrand into my bin, play my Swamp, Animate Dead, targeting Gristlebrand, and then I'm going to draw 7 cards because I have a Black Lotus still. I'm going to go down to 10 life points and 8 cards in hand. Let's see, what can we find here? Collective Brutality, binning our Emrakul, and then next turn we have Dark Petition for Exhume. We can also Brain Maggot, kill the Oath, or get the Oath back, but that's not a great part of it. I do think we want a Collective Brutality, just to at the very least make sure my opponent doesn't have anything funky going on in their hand. I'm not even sure I need to kill the Brain Maggot. What's 6 plus 6 plus 6? 18. Do I want to nug my opponent for 2? You know what? That actually seems fine, too. Let's make some black mana here. And let's Collective Brutality. I think I'm going to go for a full 3 modes. Wait, how many card types do I have in the bin? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 plus 4 is 11, but I can Ancient Tomb next turn. So I'm only 2 turns away from casting Emrakul. Okay, let's Collective Brutality. Let's 3 modes. We have a bunch of lands we can discard here. Let's kill Brain Maggot. Let's look at their hand, and let's nug them for some damages here. Discarding Swamp, Blooming Marsh, and that's it. We'll hang on to Plains for... Yeah, we could have held on to the Lotus to do that. Perfect. We're going to leave my opponent with Riftwind Cloudskate and not enough lands to cast it. We're going to take this and put it in the graveyard, put Oath of Druids in our hand. Pass turn. Yeah, we can cast Emrakul in 2 turns. We can almost cast it. We could have cast it next turn if we held on to the Bloom here. And Ancestral Visions is not close to unsuspending. I guess they suspended that last turn. Yeah, they must have. And because we nugged them, Gristlebrand is now lethal in 2 turns. This turn we can Dark Petition and like Liliana or something. That seems good. I could also just Stirring Wildwood. Can I do both? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, I can't do both. Let's just Dark Petition. So I could Exhume. If I Exhume, my opponent gets back Brain Maggot. Oh, and I get back nothing. Just gonna grab Liliana, I think. I'm gonna get 3 mana. Yeah, this is fine. Oh, I can draw 7 more cards this way, too. I'll discard Urborg. Then I'm going to ink my opponent. Taking Counterspell. Alright, I just have to watch my time on the clock. I think we're doing perfectly fine here. Let's discard Emrakul and Dark Slick Shores. Ancestral goes down to 2. And I can knock my opponent down to, like, no cards in hand as well. I don't know. There's definitely a lot of different plays I can make. Let's just activate Stirring Wildwood. Oh, did I just bin the Emrakul that I wanted to reanimate? Whatever. Yeah, sorry, I got distracted here. I'm just slightly worried about my time on the clock. There was all that weird stuff going on with Twitch at the beginning of the match, so. Yeah, let's discard this Emrakul. So now I can draw my Black Lotus again. So let's try to do that. I got this Emrakul. Drew 1 tutor. If I draw 7 more cards. Oh, I'm not going to have any cards in the graveyard, actually. So maybe new Emrakul isn't castable. Let's ink them again, though. I don't think they're going to even have any more cards left for us to take with Inquisition of Kozilek. They're going to Spell Pierce that. That's fine. That leaves them with just Riftwing Cloudscape. Let's not pay for Spell Pierce. And then let's just pass the turn. Discard until we have 7. Let's discard Emrakul again, Urborg again, Swamp again, Blooming Marsh, and Oath of Druids. Sounds good. So opponent has just Riftwing Cloudscape in hand, but they are going to get to... Oh, no, they're not. Oh, never mind. This game's over. My opponent has Riftwing Cloudscape in hand. They need to draw a land and a Moxen, at which point I can just hardcast Gristlebrand at this point. So I am not super worried. Oh, I have to put this onto the stack. This is on me. My fault. I thought I was waiting on my opponent there. I don't know why I have to put one ability onto the stack, but I guess just in case I wanted to respond to it or something. So I should turn off auto yields. We might respond to something here. Oh no, my opponent only gets to draw one card for turn, so they need to have Black Lotus or Mana Crypt. Nope, they're going to finally suspend it. Sounds good to me. Let's attack my opponent with Gristlebrand and Stirring Wildwood. Never mind, let's just Collective Brutality them. This Signet's so complicated. Just trying to do what was the least clicks. And I thought it was going to be this. But I made it a whole bunch more clicks for me. Alright, that is round 1. A lot of really complicated stuff going on. This deck seems crazy powerful. Black Lotus and Gristlebrand and Emrakul to keep reshuffling the whole deck. Feels like the only way that we can lose is if we deck ourselves with Oath of Druids. Alright, this hand's good. We've got a discard spell. We've got a way to put Gristlebrand in the bin. And we've got a way to reanimate Gristlebrand. We can even discard on Burial Rites with Collective Brutality if we want to go off a turn earlier here. I'm going to lead with Stirring Wildwood regardless, because we are going to need that white mana most likely. Alrighty. Alright, well, we drew the white mana anyways. Question is, how big do we want to go on this Collective Brutality? You know what, the fact that my opponent showed us a Plains... Oh, we also can't even really do this at a profit just yet. I'm just going to play Godless Shrine into play tapped. It means we can't Entomb this turn, but we should probably be able to Entomb another time without too much of a cost here. Alright, another Plains. Weird. What kind of deck wants to play 2 Plains back and forth? So I could Duress and Nug my opponent, and then end of turn Entomb, untap, Burial Rites the Gristlebrand. That seems reasonable. Yeah, I wanna get a move on here. So let's Duress them and Nug them for 2, discarding on Burial Rites. Like I said, a little bit risky here. My opponent's playing mono green and has 2 Plains in play. Gotcha. Sounds good. Sounds good to me. Their hand is Eternal Witness, Sylvan Library, Thrun, Sword of Body and Mind, Raphelos. Yeah, pretty awkward hand. Alright, I'm going to Entomb end of turn here. And then my opponent will see that the jig is up. I think let's just grab Gristlebrand. We could just grab Emrakul because it's the fastest clock. It'll hit my opponent in 2 turns. Yeah, okay, let's go new Emrakul. Does leave us dead to, like, Oblivion Ring or something. But yeah, new Emrakul seems good. It's a 2-turn clock for my opponent. Next turn, they can play Fauna Shaman or Sylvan Library. And then that'll give them 1 turn with Sylvan Library to try to find an answer. Nope, they're going to concede on the spot. Alright, not exactly how I wanted to win. But I think this deck is pretty good, even if that didn't happen. So Ultimate Price could be really good. Raphellos is kind of one of those must-kill targets. So I think I like having Ultimate Price for Raphellos. Living Death is still going to be really good. I think Ultimate Price is probably better than Hero's Downfall. Of course, my opponent is going to have white cards in their deck as well. Cast Out, we can use on Cast Out. So I like that for that reason. I think I might just cut Hero's Downfall, to be honest. I think I still might like Cast Out. Yeah, let's cut Hero's Downfall in favor of Ultimate Price, because it looks like Ultimate Price is just going to be better, considering my opponent is a Raphellos deck here. So this is a turn 1 Oath of Druids, but we have the Emrakul. I'm going to keep this for sure, though. Just wait until they cast anything. We can also Living Death at some point. I'm going to do this. We have Black Lotus. We're fine. I could have also just discarded this Emrakul and then next turn exhumed it. You know, maybe that was better. Yeah, that was probably actually a lot better. Alright. Well, now I can't Living Death this turn, but what I can do is just play Lotus Oath of Druids. Yeah, I like Lotus Oath of Druids here. Alrighty, we can even exhume this turn, but we're not going to. My opponent now has to kill their own Raphellos and not play any more creatures for the rest of the game. I think this was a smart move. It increases our chances to hit an Emrakul, which is just much more powerful. We could have hit Gristlebrand and then discarded the Emrakul too. Oh, if they have a Slime Time here. Okay. Oh my god, that means we're gonna get to we're gonna get to Oath however many times we want now. We just have to not mill ourselves. But as long as we can not mill ourselves... Alright, Sphinx of the Steel Wind. That's fine. How many card types are in the bin for Emrakul? Just 4. That's fine. We still have a pro-green, life-linking, vigilant creature. I'll take it. Echo for 5. Is my opponent going to keep Deranged Hermit around? Am I going to mill myself again this game? I can now Animate Dead my opponent's Deranged Hermit. Which means that then they would get to Oath. We can also just stop Oathing at some point. That seems reasonable too. I'm just going to let my opponent keep all these squirrel tokens. Seems great for us. Alright. That's a pretty cool turn. Rishkar, Pima Renegade, putting 2 counters on 2 squirrel tokens. So now my opponent can still make 5 more mana here. 2 from the squirrels, 3 from Raphellos. I am F6. I'm going to go grab some water, and we'll see what my opponent can accomplish before I have an Emrakul in play. 5 mana. Umezawa's Jiete plus a morph. That's fine, I can beat that. Alright, this guy's got more creatures than us. We've got 19 cards in our deck. Let's see how many we mill. Gristlebrand. Well, I'm definitely going to draw cards with Gristlebrand, especially after I smash with this Vigilant creature. So with this draw 7, well, we'll see what I draw. I can't hit Black Lotus anymore, which is unlucky, but I can hit a land, which means then I can ultimate price, but I can't ultimate price a morph. I can Liliana, but Liliana seems mediocre. Actually, I think I just like Liliana tick up. And then we'll discard this Emrakul at the end of turn. If I draw 7 again with Gristlebrand, I lose the game. So let's not do that. Just trying to think of all of our possible opportunities. Yeah, I'm going to be done oathing, and I'm just going to reanimate this Emrakul next turn. So let's go Plains, Liliana. Say each player discards a card. I'm going to discard this Emrakul. Sounds good. And then end of turn, I'll have to discard 3 cards as well there. So that'll be Forest, Swamp, Living Death. Alright, my opponent bins a Thrun. They can actually attack with this GT if they put it on the morph. If they don't put it on the morph, they won't even be able to attack with it. Master of the Wild Hunt, that's not going to be good enough, though. Alright, they're going to tap Raphellos to put GT on the morph. Or maybe flip up the morph if it's a Den Protector or something. That could be reasonable. We only need to deal 1 damage to my opponent during the next turn. Yeah, GT is going to get counters on it regardless here. Nothing I can do against that. They have to trade their creature for 2 Jiete counters, though. We definitely block. And it was a Den Protector, but it was better as a colorless creature. Wait. Oh, this got first strike, too. Never mind. Yeah. That game wasn't even close. Sounds good to me. What else do we have? Yeah, we had 1 Emrakul left in the deck and 5 other cards. Emrakul was next. I wasn't going to chance it. Sounds good to me. On to round 3. This deck is insane. Once I stopped drafting those Blightsteel Colossuses, my decks have gotten a lot better. Though that's not true. I had a good Blightsteel Colossus draft as well. The Tinker draft. If you'd like to see any of my past Cube drafts, you can check out my YouTube channel, where I post my full stream VODs as well as some highlight videos. There's a link to a playlist right below the stream in the feed. It says made some Vintage Cube highlight videos and gameplay. There's also, here's a copy, a Reddit link I'll throw in the chat right now. Feel free to check those out. Those are some highlights of some of my best games and decks. But also I post full stream VODs of everything there. Let's get into it. The finals. This deck is quite powerful. Black Lotus one more time. Alright, I probably don't need more Black Lotuses. This hand seems perfectly acceptable. It only has one black mana, which is pretty awkward though. I am going to keep, and we are also on the draw, which means I could just go turn 1, draw a card, bin Sphinx of the Steelwind. It's not as great against blue decks, but we've got redundancy now with Exhume. Alright, let's do it. Let's discard Sphinx of the Steelwind. Sometimes that's just the most powerful play you can do in Vintage Cube. I'm into it. My opponent's got a pretty nice mana base over there. The fact that we drew a redundant piece of, well, Collective Brutality would have been much better to discard it with. But the fact that we drew a redundant spell to cast definitely entices me. Alright, Phyrexian Arena's good. I am going to just... Urborg's interesting too. Urborg fixes my opponent's mana a little bit, but you know what? It fixes mine more. Let's go Urborg, and let's Exhume for now. So next turn, now we get to play Liliana. We've got my opponent on a 3-turn clock, I believe, with that Phyrexian Arena helping us out here. 6 + 6 + 6 + 1 + 1. Yeah. I kind of want to use Collective Brutality to protect Liliana too, but we get to go turn, like next turn we get to play Collective Brutality or Grim Tutor. Then the following turn we can Entomb Animate Dead, or we can go Collective Brutality, Animate Dead. Well, I can actually Grim Tutor for a fatty, and then Collective Brutality, Animate Dead on turn 4. You know what? That seems like our best play. Yeah, just Grim Tutor for Gristlebrand, and then Collective Brutality, discarding Gristlebrand, nugging my opponent for 2, and then we'll Animate Dead the Gristlebrand and draw 7 or 14 real quick. And then we will play Liliana off of Black Lotus. Alright, that's our plan for turn 4. If our opponent lets us survive. And what's cool is, like, my opponent is already trying to figure out, alright, how do I deal with this Sphinx of the Steelwind? So they have to deal with this. And then in the meantime, we're going to try to reanimate some other nasty threats here. If they just, like, Doomblade it or something, I'll probably just let it go to the bin. I'd much rather have a Gristlebrand in play. This is probably... yeah, this is the weakest of our potential spells, especially against a bug deck. Alright, they are going to Grim Tutor as well, so... we both have a Grim Tutor. That's a little bit scary. With both of us Grim Tutoring, it's a little bit tricky because we don't know what they're gonna get. But I feel like my deck is good enough that I am probably going to be able to deal with whatever they get, right? Alright, they play a Mox Diamond, discarding a Sanctum. Are they going to Time Walk? No, Gruul Signet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They have 7 mana next turn. Only 3 cards in hand. Do we try to Collective Brutality and take what they took? I don't think we do. I think they grabbed a Karn. or some shit like that, right? My opponent can play a Karn next turn, exile Sphinx, and then I'm going to make a Griselbrand, and they can exile that as well. I'm still down for that. Alright. I thought I played the wrong land for a second there. Let's Grim Tutor. Let's just take a look at our options again. We could get Gifts Ungiven. Oh, but we can't cast it. Wow. Yeah, Gifts would actually be pretty solid here. Let's just grab Griselbrand. Alright, Sphinx them down to 10. Phyrexian Arena puts them down to 9. So one Griselbrand hit is very close to lethal, but like I said, I think we're going to see something like a Karn liberated here. Oh, they could Upheaval as well. You know what? Upheaval I think we're actually okay against. I just discard Griselbrand to hand size. Again. Alright, it is not an Upheaval. It's going to be a 6 mana cost card. It's a Memory Jar. Huh. That's not a bad one. So my opponent's plan now is to jar and untap with everything. Can I do anything to affect that? I can Griselbrand into Black Lotus pretty comfortably. I can draw my entire deck. Oh, we have to not die to jar. Okay, that's a very real concern. Let's not die to jar here. If I ever activate Griselbrand, my opponent can jar in response, which is pretty hilarious. Oh, wait a minute. Alright. There's a lot of sweet plays we could do this turn, but we could also just animate Stirring Wildwood and attack my opponent. Oh, this is the sweetest play. Oh, God. This is actually pretty sweet because this is just a random mana fixer, and we've activated it twice now. Grim Tutor, all this other shit be damned. We are just going to activate Stirring Wildwood. My opponent can Memory Jar and try to find some free spells to cast on us. That's pretty silly. Did anybody see that? Stirring Wildwood lethal? I'm sure somebody did. Somewhere out there in the aether. This deck is very powerful. That's what happens when you open up Black Lotus. But this deck has definitely overperformed. If you go back and watch the draft portion of this video, or if you just remember it, like, I'm pretty sure throughout Pack 1, I mean, I took a second pick Grim Tutor, and I kind of wanted to play Reanimate. I probably took like a 4th pick Exhume or something like that. But we didn't have any fatties to Reanimate until the end of Pack 2 when we picked up Sphinx of the Steelwind. And then we got Griselbrand, Emrakul, and Emrakul in the next pack, I believe. But there was definitely a minute where I was concerned that we were not going to have the fatties to do it. And then we got, like, Collective Brutality. Got the Oath in Pack 2, I believe. Collective Brutality was super late. Feels pretty cool when you win a game and all that you have to do is reanimate a Sphinx of the Steelwind by going to discard. That's pretty insane. My opponent did Grim Tutor, which helped us, and they Phyrexian Arena'd, which helped us. But still very sweet. And hopefully my opponent comes back here. We still have another game to play, so... Maybe my opponent is upset that I took a minute to think and didn't realize that I had Stirring Wildwood Lethal. They might have thought I was, like, slow rolling them. Not sure. Nothing we can do now but wait. And I guess load up Duelist. Our opponent has disconnected. Sounds like a good way to end this here. That's pretty unfortunate. I gotta log into Steam real quick too. Guess I'll load up Hearthstone as well. I don't want to slow my computer down too much here. But I'll check out if I have a daily quest in Hearthstone as well. Also load up Soulforge. That's overkill at this point. I just loaded up 3 games. Alright, here's Hearthstone and Duelist. Plan is not to play them. I can't play the next round until my opponent... Well, actually, there is no next round. I can't play the next game until my opponent comes back and wants to play it. Not sure if they realized that this was only game 2. Or only game 1. Here's our free card of the day in Duelist. Pretty interesting feature. As long as you log in once per day, you get a free card. Then there's also daily quests and stuff. I don't do them every day because the game takes a little bit of time to play. Oops. Alright. Paladin or Priest. They are probably not coming back. Let's load up some Soulforge. I think I will do an outro here as well. I think it seems pretty likely that my opponent is not going to come back, so I'm going to do an outro for this deck so that I can upload it all to YouTube. Oh, I see. Yeah, it's getting real slow now that I've opened up too many games. All right, let me close down some games quickly. Hopefully that doesn't completely lag us out of here. So it looks like my opponent has decided that they don't want to play anymore in the face of Sphinx of the Steel Wind, Stirring Wildwood combo. It's a pretty dastardly combo. I don't blame them. But that is going to make our record 3-0 here with this pretty insane Oath Gristlebrand Reanimator Emrakul deck. I'll throw Emrakul in there as well, just because we got 2 Emrakuls. So thank you guys very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Peace. Alright, and then I think I'm also going to play some Soulforge here. Yeah. Let's do that. Let's close down Hearthstone. And I will switch over my game to Soulforge, and I am going to record some new player content for Soulforge, I think is the idea. I'm going to stream it, but I'm going to stream it just to stream it, because there's no reason not to. Actually, there kind of is a reason not to, because I might want to, like, edit it a little bit more than I normally do. I'm going to take out some of the like stuff I have up on the board. I'm going to keep my logo, I think, but take off Streamlab alerts and chat. I might just take out chat. Cool move. Alright. So my opponent concedes from that game. Maybe they actually did disconnect. We'll give them the benefit of the doubt here. What else can we do? I don't even remember what they were playing. That was so long ago. Oh, right. Just a bunch of artifacts. Alright, well, Hero's Downfall killing a Planeswalker is probably still pretty good. How good is Living Death? Like, we could maybe play Garruk Apex Predator to blow up a big Planeswalker. Nah, I think this is good enough. Let's roll with it. I'm actually happy about this, even though I think my opponent was trying to scum me there. We turn 1 Animate, or turn 1 Entomb, turn 2 Animate dead. Sure, this is what this guy deserves. Let's keep. I think my opponent was trying to scum me, but I am happy to play another game of Magic with this insanely powerful deck. Hopefully my opponent will tap out for a Signet on turn 2. I see your Dark Slick Shores, and I raise you 1 Dark Slick Shores. We also have a turn 3 Gifts Ungiven if we wanted to go that route instead. My opponent's keeping open double blue mana. Feel like just Gristle branding them is so powerful. We could try to use Liliana as a bait spell, though. We also might just hit our lands. Oh, I don't have white mana. So that's an interesting part about all this. Alright, let's just Entomb. I'm going to go ahead and... Oh, Mental Misstep. Alright, well, that's fine. That means that we don't actually commit that much. And we now used all of our mana perfectly. I can get behind that. We've got a Buried Alive for the next turn. Trying that shit out. And also, Gifts Ungiven can act as a Buried Alive. We just go and we get our 2 biggest creatures. We can even get our 3 biggest creatures because we have Liliana of the Veil. Opponent suspends a Lotus Bloom, plays a Swamp. And they're going to tap out for a Grim Tutor. Okay. So we've got some decisions to make here. Buried Alive, Liliana of the Veil, or Gifts Ungiven. Hero's Downfall seems like it's going to be pretty good. We have to worry about, like, control magic here. I think I like just Liliana-ing them while they're tapped out. And I think I like Liliana discard Swamp. We're either going to discard Swamp or Gifts Ungiven. And if we discard Gifts Ungiven, then we have no use for the Swamp. So let's just play Liliana. Discard Swamp, and then next turn we'll discard Gifts Ungiven, or we'll discard a big fatty. But I'm just a little bit afraid that they tutored up like a control magic. Alright, Tendrils. So they are definitely a Storm deck. That we kind of knew. And Lotus Bloom also points to that. Keep Lotus Bloom popped out here because we do need to... We want to take our time, but we don't want to take enough time that we lose the game to Lotus Bloom here. So we could see if Gifts Ungiven resolves and then tutor based off of that. Choose target opponent here. I was an Abzon deck last game, and this time I'm just a blue-black deck. But this seems sweet. I do want to main phase this Gifts, I'm pretty sure. It's going to open us up into Mana Drain, unfortunately. But like I said, I think we're still okay. Because we're going to get them Hellbent now. Alright, let's discard Hero's Downfall this time. Alright, yeah, Liliana is really, really good against Storm. I think my opponent did tutor for the Mana Drain, but assuming they don't have anything super insane to play here, like if they have Dragonlord Solemgar, maybe I should have kept Hero's Downfall. I think the only way I lose is to Dragonlord Solemgar right now. Shoot. Alright, black, that's no Solemgar. That is a Yawgmoth's Bargain, though. Alright, so Liliana has been thwarted. Yikes. Okay. My opponent's going to try to find another counterspell, probably. And does this have the Yawgmoth's Will Clause, too? No, it doesn't. So my opponent's cards actually get to go to their graveyard. And they have a Lotus Bloom next turn. Okay. I think we may have lost this game. My opponent has a Griselbrand as well. Now I need to draw that land. They're going to have a huge turn next turn with nearly infinite mana and actually infinite cards. On the bright side, we only have to hit them with the Griselbrand once, which means we may even just go get Emrakul. Emrakul, the Promised End here. We have to draw a land as a live draw, an untapped land. Can't be Stirring Wildwood or Blooming Marsh. And a Fatty as a draw. Okay, that works too. Let's Black Lotus Buried Alive. I'm going to put all my Fatties in the bin. Buried Alive. And I do get to Liliana Ultimate next turn, but I don't know if that's good enough. Let's put Sphinx, Griselbrand, Emrakul, the Promised End in the bin. Then let's Animate Dead, targeting... I think I'm going to target Emrakul, the Promised End here. No, you know what? I get to Inquisition them and Collective Brutality them if I take Griselbrand, or I don't get to do both. I get to do one or the other. I could also potentially hit an Exhume here too. Yeah. Okay. This is good. Let's tick Liliana up to start things off. New Emrakul is, I mean, you and I guess anybody that was playing Standard for a while, right? That card is banned. Alright, so we have Collective Brutality as an option. I also still get to play a land for turn. So I can play Collective Brutality and Inquisition of Kozilek. Let's draw 7 more. Alright, we missed. And this is as much as we get to do. But next turn we have Grim Tutor for Reanimate. We can also Living Death. So we're just going to hang on to those cards. And let's Collective Brutality, our opponent. Definitely casting it with 2 modes here. Just to nug my opponent for 2. That actually denies them 2 cards. Oh, wait. That means we get to draw more cards. Is that worth doing? So I gain 2 life off of this. If I want to, I can draw 7 more cards and try to find Inquisition of Kozilek. Alright, we are definitely taking... Oh, fuck yeah. I want to take Yawgmoth's Will and Demonic Tutor. Time Spiral's pretty good, too. Alright, our graveyard's going to go back into our deck. So we don't have to worry about decking either. We just have to bin Yawgmoth's Will. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, I think my opponent's just going to cast Time Spiral on their turn. Oh, but they also cast Demonic Tutor. They also get to cast Demonic Tutor. Should I ink them and take Demonic Tutor? I think I should. Oh, this is crazy. We're pretty good odds to hit Inquisition here. 7 out of 4. We go down to 1 life point, which means my opponent, all they have to do is draw Tendrils off the Mind Twist. And it also means I can't... Well, if I was going to do this, maybe I... Oh, no, I couldn't have done this without the Collective Brutality. Yeah, they would only have to Tendrils us once. Okay, let's just pass the turn. They still have to deal with Gristlebrand. We're going to have it on Burial Rites. Yeah, let's just end the turn here. I think I'm going to hang on to Living Death as well, because it'll let us reanimate everything. Oh, I didn't play a land. Oh, I'm a shitter. All right. Forgot to play a land. Let's actually hang on to Plains. Discard Swamp. Discard Forest. Discard Bayou. Discard Swamp. Alright. I think I kind of messed up there. I don't think the land will affect us that much. We can still cast Living Dead or Burial Rites regardless. We just can't also cast Inquisition of Kozilek now. If we had drawn... The problem is, like... Drawing is both awkward and really good. Because when we hit the Emrakul, it means we get to shuffle our deck back in, which means we shuffle the Lotus back in, which, as we know, is really strong. And that was potentially a reason to wait on Liliana. I don't know. My opponent has to win next turn regardless. So let's just make it... What's going to make it the hardest for them to kill us? Demonic Tutor, if they have a Snapcaster Mage, they probably win. High Tide. Alright, High Tide into Time Spiral. That's pretty good. So we get a brand new hand anyways. That has a Black Lotus in it. And if they have Tendrils in hand, we probably lose because our life total's low enough. But Yawgmoth's Will definitely would have killed us, so I think I still like this play. Alright, Demonic Tutor for Tendrils, is that enough? Yeah, that's enough. My opponent played Lotus Bloom, Time Spiral, and Demonic Tutor this turn, so all they have to do now is Tendrils us, and that'll kill us. They had 5 spells were cast before it, apparently. What else was cast this turn? Oh, the High Tide as well. Right, the High Tide. Oh, and the Demonic Tutor for High Tide. Sounds good. Let's go into the sideboarding. My opponent has no creatures, notably. With my opponent playing no creatures, should I take out Oath of Druids? They have 0 creatures, right? Yeah, okay. So let's take out Oath of Druids. Let's put in... We have Brain Maggot, Hypnotic Spectre, Magus of the Will, Oona's Prowler. We have all 4 of these as options. I'm going to keep the Forest in there now for now, just so I don't get confused. We can cut Hero's Downfall. Cast Out still might be good. We take out Emrakul, even though it gives us the shuffle. Maybe we don't need Magus of the Will. But Brain Maggot and Hippie seem great. Is Magus of the Will better than Cast Out? Massacre Worm seems really bad. Oona's Prowler. No, our Oona's Prowler is probably fine. Oona's Prowler, Magus of the Will is kind of funny too. We're just trying to Magus of the Will, have Black Lotus. I guess that's not really even that great. It's just good against control. It's redundancy against control. So maybe that is better than Cast Out here. What else could we cut? We could cut Golgari's Signet. Now let's cut Cast Out. Let's cut this. I'm going to cut these for basic swamps, and I'm going to add 1 more basic plains to the deck. Because we have a little bit more blue fixing. Oh, I'm going to cut Stirring Wildwood as well for another plains. So this gives us the same amount of black sources. Alright, I think I like this. Question is, should we just be playing Cast Out? What else does my opponent have? Nah, Magus of the Will could actually be pretty good. Because part of their plan is to just... Oh shit, Yawgmoth's Bargain. Huh. Oh, Entomb Magus of the Will is pretty crazy too. I'll keep. This hand's not great. It's definitely our weakest hand by far, but might still be good enough. Our opponent's mulligan down to 6. And they've kept. And they put a card on top. Okay. We got a game. I do kind of want to Entomb before my opponent draws Mental Misstep, but I also want to potentially Entomb for something that we Magus of the Will. Probably just going to Living Death it, but I'm not super sure yet. So I'm going to hold off. It's a little bit risky to hang on to this Entomb. Magus of the Will also lets us Entomb again. But that's not a combo. Yeah, because any card that goes in your graveyard this turn is exiled instead. So Entomb, Magus of the Will, not really a combo on the front half. But it does turn Entomb into Demonic Tutor. Or, I'm sorry, it's not good on the back half. It is good on the front half. We're just going to put a 3/3 into play and attack my opponent 7 times. How does that sound? Probably not good enough, especially if they hit a Lotus Bloom here. Pretty sure they're pondering just for Lotus Bloom and Mana Drain. Oh, Chrome Box is pretty good too. All right, my opponent's deck has got some cards in it. Mind's Desire is getting exiled. Interesting. Not sure exactly what the plan is still. I mean, clearly I should Entomb for something turn 4 so that I can Living living death it out the next turn. Oh, maybe I just run this out here then. Unfortunately, I drew Gristlebrand. But pretty sure I have to go for an Animate Dead this turn. And my opponent just has green-red mana open. Let's grab... I think I want to grab Emrakul, the Promised End. It's got the best protection on it. No mental misstep one time. Shoot. Mental misstep again. Alright, that's pretty punishing. So yeah, now I can Magus of the Will for Entomb, but whatever card I get is just exiled. So that's really not great. We might lose after all this. Still don't know exactly what my opponent can do that's, like, super threatening. Let's play a 5-mana card here. What could that be? Alright, Dark Petition. You can get and play whatever. Either a Necro or a Phyrexian Arena. Alright, they're not going to play it, so they're just, like, tutoring up Yawgmoth's Bargain or Mana Drain to try to play it next turn. Yeah, I got nothing, dudes. I guess I could have mulliganed. Hand seemed average. Alright, here comes Yawgmoth's Bargain. Very likely. No, Heartbeat of Spring. Okay. Whenever a player adds a land for mana, they add an additional mana of any type. So I can play Gristlebrand, and then if they counter it, I can Animate Dead my Gristlebrand. Ancient Tomb costs me 2 life points, so it's a little bit weird against Tendrils. My opponents still, we don't know exactly what they Dark Petitioned for. But I think I like the extra, well, it's an extra 1 mana off of Gristlebrand. But that extra 1 mana could be super relevant. Let's play Ancient Tomb. Let's hard cast Gristlebrand. Leaving a black mana floating. Alrighty. Gristlebrand, let's go, baby. Gristlebrand, let's go. Mana drain my Gristlebrand. That's fine. My opponent is going to have infinite mana on their turn, but we have a Gristlebrand. We've got 3 mana to use this Gristlebrand with. My opponent only has 1 card. So if their 1 card is Jar, they're in a pretty decent spot. But if their 1 card isn't Jar, I think we can mess them up here. Alright, I already played my land for the turn. Do I want to go down to 4 life points? It means I'm dead to Tendrils. Yeah, I don't think I want to go down to 4 life points, dudes. Let's just attack my opponent for 3 here. That would have a very big cost. Going down to 4 life points. Main phase 2, I'm going to play Oona's Prowler. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I will discard my Swamp. Alright, my opponent gets 8 mana for Mana Drain, and they have 10 mana already in play. Time Spiral? Oh, Time Spiral would also be very good. Alright, each player shuffles his or her graveyard into their library. Sounds good. I think we may have lost. We don't even have lethal next turn because Oona's Prowler, my opponent can blank. So now they get to Heartbeat. They have 10 mana floating. They get to still make 12 more mana. So my opponent has 22 mana. Well, I think we lost to a sweeter deck. Here comes a Cabal Ritual. Yeah, they are definitely just adding to Storm count at this point. They have to cast... how many spells have they cast so far? 2? Well, that's unfortunate, but this was still a very sweet deck. And I'm not too upset with how it performed. This game, I think I let the deck down. I don't think the deck let me down this turn, or this game. But otherwise, the deck was very good. With lethal on the stack, I will make sure that I disconnect for 10 minutes so that my opponent has to wait as long as we had to wait as well. Just kidding, I won't do that. I'll scoop it up. And we definitely just have lethal if... Well, we don't have lethal. Actually, our position might not get any better if we pass turn here. Are they time spiraling again? No, time spiral exiles itself. Alright, there's the jar. So they are going to crack jar. Or jar is just for storm count. Dark Petition. Alright. Dark Petition goes and gets tendrils. Dark Petition on the stack. Gonna crack jar. Alright, I appreciate that. Does Memory Jar exile face up? It does not. Okay. Alright. Tendrils is now lethal. I could have drawn nothing with Gristlebrand, but I think we were still dead anyways. And it was worth trying to reanimate another fatty. Here's the big tendrils. That'll hit us for 12. Turn off auto yields real quick. Alright. Now we get to make our opponent wait for 10 minutes. Just kidding. I'm not going to do that. He wins. We lose. We still get 100 play points and a pretty sweet deck to show for it. Sweet deck from my opponent. That is going to be it for me for Magic Online. I am going to switch over now to... Actually, let me double check that. What time? You know what? I'm going to do one more cube draft. Let's do it. We got 100 play points here. Let's do one more cube draft. We are immediately in it, and our mythics are Dragonlord Jamoka, Hero of Bladehold, and Sword of Feast and Famine. Those are not powerful mythics here, but Snapcaster Mage is kind of a mythic, Mystical Tutor's kind of a mythic, and I'm definitely between one of those two cards. I really do like Mystical Tutor. You guys know I love that. Snapcaster Mage seems equally fantastic. Then Elvish Mystic and Necromancy are probably the next best cards. I don't really like any of the mythics. Bitter Blossom's fine as well. But I'm going to take Snapcaster Mage. There's kind of something that I want to do here. Oh, this pack's pretty sweet. Lightning Bolt. Mole Drifter's okay. Coalition Relic's pretty sweet. And you guys know I love me a Kozilek. More cube, always more cube. Title of the stream is Vintage Cubing Until We Can't Anymore. It's still online for a whole nother week, but definitely want to use it while we got it. I don't know. Trying to think of what ones to play Kozilek and Snapcaster Mage. I guess blue-green could be okay. Alright, I'm going to take Kozilek. I don't really like to pass Eldrazi. This is a great card for blue-green. So a Mana Leak, a Splinter Twin, and a Gifts Ungiven. Eureka wheels a decent amount of the time, but I think I still want Eureka here. Mana Leak's also pretty fantastic, though. But I'm going to take Eureka. That's more powerful. Strip Mine that looks like a Kuldotha Forge Master. Alright, now it looks like a Strip Mine. There you go. Careful Study to go along with Snapcaster Mage, Consecrated Sphinx, Lumbering Falls, and Llanowar Elves. I like Llanowar Elves, but Consecrated Sphinx is really good. And could still lead us into it's good in blue-green because you wind up ramping. So this is the plan here. Blue-green ramp. Lion's Eye Diamond doesn't really do anything for us. Wandering Firmerole is mana fixing. Yeah, I don't think Lion's Eye Diamond does anything. Light and Tutor doesn't do anything for us either. Could take Sulfuric Vortex because red is generally pretty open. The Lightning Bolt's going to be gone. Lightning Bolt won't wheel. It's between Sulfuric Vortex and Firmerole. Well, I'm probably going to play Firmerole if I play the red deck, but Sulfuric Vortex is more important in the deck. Sure, I'm going to take Sulfuric Vortex. We'll see if we wind up just in red. All right, this pack has some blue-green cards for us. Everflowing Chalice is pretty strong with Consecrated Sphinx and Kozilek. Primeval Titan is really good with Eureka. I think Sphinx's Revelation we're not going to take. Yeah, it's probably just between Primeval Titan and Everflowing Chalice. Everflowing Chalice lets you do some silly things like it's good with Tinker as well. I think Everflowing Chalice is just slightly better. Let's cut this Sulfuric Vortex out of here. But again, this pack is kind of dead. I think Zurgo Bellstriker is just the best card in this pack. I don't know. Maybe we draft Burn again. Deck is typically pretty open. That's why it's good. Yeah, I don't like any of these other cards. I mean, Pernicious Deed is okay if we wind up in Bug, but I don't like it. Let's grab a Zurgo. Then I can grab Inspiring Village, Searing Spear, or Magus of the Moon. There's also Mardu Woe Reaper. I don't hate that. I think I'd rather be in blue-red than red-white. But 1-drops are quite fantastic. I'm going to take Searing Spear, though, here. I know we're going to play that regardless. Lightning Bolt's in the next pack. This pack we get to take Brimstone Volley or Harsh Mentor. I don't think Harsh Mentor is actually good in Cube. I'm trying to think of what it stops. And I don't think it stops anything. Could also take Lava Claw Reaches to, like, splash Bitter Blossom. I'm just going to take Brimstone Volley. And Lightning Bolt Wield. Alright, well, if Lightning Bolt Wield, that means we are the only player at the table, again, drafting red. Probably. Somebody's going to take the Splinter Twin out of the next pack, I'm sure. Yeah, the Splinter Twin is gone, but otherwise we're killing it. Chrome Mox is kind of awkward in red deck wins, but could be good. I don't think I want to play Recruiter of the Guard, so I'll take Chrome Mox. Just putting all of these cards into my sideboard instead of into my main deck. Still hoping that these main deck cards get played. They're not. We can switch them out here. What do I want? Blackleaf Cliffs or Bonfire? We'll take Blackleaf Cliffs. Maybe we splash black. I think it's more likely that we splash white, though. Do I want this Chandra? No, I'm going to take Boros Charm. And we're going to potentially look at splashing white here. All right, let me get my other picks back into the deck. And maybe Chrome Mox, right? Sort these by converted mana cost. Not the most exciting thing that you can do with Vintage Cube, but we're making something happen here regardless. Nothing in this first pack, like absolutely nothing. So we take Thalia or Rakdos Return. Huh. Yeah, this pack's pretty terrible, but maybe we can find some other cards. The other option is like, if we Snapcaster Mage, would we want potentially Force of Will or Control Magic? I don't think so. I could just take a Chandra, but I just don't think this is good. I guess it does hit them for 4 every turn. It's going to wheel. Every other red card wheeled. So I think I'll take Thalia. I mean, I think Thalia will also wheel. I also don't think Thalia is great in this deck. Alright, I'll take Chandra. Then I can grab a Swift Spear. There's also a Swords to Plowshares and a Wooded Foothill. I could probably just let the Swift Spear wheel and take Wooded Foothill. Feels a little bit risky. If anybody wants red cards, they're going to take Mizium Mortars. There's no reason to hate Draft and League. Alright, let's take Wooded Foothill. Maybe we find like a Temple Garden or something, and then we're helping to splash that. Bloodbraid Elf is also good. Chain Lightning Wield, but I'm not going to try to make... Lightning Bolt Wield, but I'm not going to make Chain Lightning Wheel as well. I think Chain Lightning is just much better than Bloodbraid Elf, and I don't want to risk it. Winter Orb would also be really decent for this deck too. So we have 2 decent cards that can wheel here. But I'm just going to take Chain Lightning. It is much, much more powerful. Then I can take Brimaz, Mana Confluence, or Copperline Gorge. Don't really have many insane green cards to take. I'm not sure if I want a double white card. There's also Avalanche Riders, and there's also Dual Caster Mage. Dualcaster Mage is like a Lightning Bolt. I think I like Dualcaster better than anything else. I don't want to risk the double white. Mana Confluence is fine, but we might be light on playables because we didn't start out mono red. Alright, Plateau, and we can search for Plateau, Wasteland, and nothing else. Oh, Shrine of Burning Rage. Nah, I think we're going to take Shrine here. I think Shrine is better than potentially splashing this Boros Charm. I'll put this back in the deck. All right, so Dark Confidant is one of the best black cards to splash of Blackleaf Cliffs. What does this card do? Whenever it is... Oh, it's a Jackal Pup with Fire Breathing? All right, Magic Online is bugging out here. Oh. It's Fire Drink Crusader. Never mind. The art was just not displaying properly for a second. This is probably going to wheel... as is Char. We could try to take the Dark Confidant. I think I'm just going to take Char and wheel Fire Drink Crusader. Lava Man and Fire Blast. Fire Blast is better. It's more likely to wheel, but it's just enough better that I'm going to take it. Probably cut Chandra at that point once we put in a Fire Blast. Sweet. I'll take a Lightning Strike. Thalia did wheel. That bodes pretty well for us trying to pick up any white cards in pack 3 as well. So I'll keep that in mind. I'm going to continue to cut white here then. Swift Spear wheeled and Mizium Mortar wheeled. Again, just the only player drafting red. It's insane. Probably not going to need this Burrow's Charm. Probably not going to need this Chrome Mox. And I'm probably not going to need this Blackleaf Cliffs either. I'll keep them all over here. So we could take Bloodbraid Elf. I think I'd rather take Winter Orb, though. Just as a sideboard card against controlling and ramping decks. Bloodbraid Elf is a really, really good splash, though. It's better than Dualcaster Mage. It's Dualcaster Mage, but with haste. And easier to cast. I guess I take Avalanche Riders at this point. I mean, I passed Bloodbraid Elf. I'm not going to take anything else for red and green, right? Yeah, I'm just not. All right, here's a Plateau in case we want to play Thalia and Burrow's Charm. And we get Dark Confidant and Tarmogoyf as well. Okay. Did get Huntmaster. He's going to go to the sideboard, though. Alrighty, well here's where Mono Red looks pretty awkward. It's like, alright, Karn Liberated, Balance, Flame Tongue, like I'm just taking Ancient Tomb, I guess. Yeah, I mean Ancient Tomb's a fine card. And looks like it probably is playable in this deck. But it's not doing that much for us. Might even be a drawback. It doesn't cast Fire Blast or Burrow's Charm. I'm not going to play Bazaar of Baghdad and Burn, though. I'm not going to play Wheel of Fortune either. All right, I'll take Ancient Tomb. I don't think we're going to play it unless we get a lot of other heavy requirements here. We've got a Goblin Guide and a Magma Jet. Again, Goblin Guide is enough better than Magma Jet that I'm going to pick up the creature here. Grim Lavamancer didn't wheel, or there weren't enough cards left in the pack for it to wheel. But, yeah, I think we're going to get Taiga and Magma Jet. Lodestone Golem even goes with our Avalanche Riders theme. But Goblin Guy's just enough better than Magma Jet. Like, I don't even play Magma Jet half the time. Scalding Tarn means that I could look at playing Snapcaster Mage in our deck. We're not going to get anything insane. Like, we're not going to get any Time Walks or Ancestrals at this point. Unless there was a pack that was just stacked. But even then, we probably still get an off-color Mox. Johnny Vengeance is a reasonable red card. Or a reasonable white card. So is Selfless Spirit. I think I'd rather just take Scalding Tarn to splash Burrow's Charm now that I think about it. Yeah. We'll pick up a white card if it wheels, maybe. But I'm not too concerned. Alright, Jackal Pup and Flooded Strand. Ravages of War is also a really good splash card. I'll just play that over Avalanche Riders. It's a much better Wrath effect. Well, Wooded Foothills can already get Plateau. So that's good enough. I'm just going to take Jackal Pup. Just in case somebody gets the idea that they should be hate drafting us, we'll take Jackal Pup. Phantasmal Image is probably not good, no. Delver of Secrets is actually pretty good in this deck. The other option would be take Banishing Light as a sideboard card. I like Delver of Secrets better. Maybe Delver of Secrets Snapcaster Mage becomes our best splash. Burst Lightning and Kargan Dragonlord. I'm just going to take Kargan Dragonlord. Though Burst Lightning is quite fantastic as well. Alright, so what color are we going to splash? Treasure Cruise might actually be good enough in Burn. Especially since we have so many spells. Just Treasure Cruise to refuel. Smuggler's Copter seems not great. Sword of Light and Shadow seems not great. Yeah, let's see if maybe Blue Burn is the way to go. Young Pyromancer and Koth. Peasy's great. I will take Young Peasy here. Passing Mutable also of note. I think I'm just going to have to not splash anything, to be honest, but We'll keep our options open. I might not even splash Ancient Tomb, to be honest. Alright, Wheel of Fortune wheeled. As it always does. Bizarre works with Treasure Cruise. I'm just not going to play these cards. Sure. Alright, we got the Magma Jet. Take Selfless Spirit. Just not going to play it, though. Seething Song is interesting, but yeah, I think generally pretty terrible. This deck is about the same as the deck we drafted the last time. We didn't get the Lightning Bolt, but we might still get the Burst Lightning. Burst Lightning, I think, is out of this pack. Yep. So no Lightning Bolt, but yes, Burst Lightning. Oh, wait, I did get Lightning Bolt. It wheeled around the entire table. Oh, shit. I think we might play Boros Charm still. Alright, cut Seething Song. It's cute with Dual Caster, but that's about it. Definitely not playing Dark Confidant. Our blue splash is a lot less reasonable than our white splash. We have 3 free white mana. Oh, we actually need more cards in the deck. So I guess we are splashing white. Could play Winter Orb. Yeah, okay, this red deck, we didn't get as many playables this go around. Maybe we just had Thalia as well. Thalia, Winter Orb, Avalanche Riders. Now we're at 14 lands. Alright, so we have to cut something again. What is this, though? This is 17 lands? Oh, wait, no. Alright, I did that math wrong. There's 24 spells, 16 lands. 16 lands seems fine. Avalanche Riders is our only big spell. 2 planes. That leaves us with 5 white sources. Sure, we've got a decent amount of white. Leaves this with 3 non-red lands, though. Nah, I'm going to go down and go like this. Just 1 basic plains here. That means we have 2 lands that we can't sack to Fire Blast. Alright. I'm down for this. I think our Ancient Tomb does actually do some stuff. Just going to edit my record here. I am... this hand seems fine. Is another reason to make sure we have enough mountains as well. This hand's definitely a little bit slow, but Jackal helps a lot. So turn 2, Kargan. Turn 3, we can't even activate Kargan, but we can at least start putting mana into it. I'm going to Burst Lightning this elf. Always bolt the bird. Next turn, we get to go Kargan plus a Lightning Bolt if we want to. It's just always worth bolting the bird here. If it was an elf, we definitely wanted to kill it too, because then our Jackal Pup couldn't attack into it. Alright, but looks like, yeah, just bolting the bird means that we get to attack him with Jackal Pup again, so... we lost 2 points of damage by casting it, but we got those 2 points of damage right back by being able to attack for a free turn here. Pretty much a time walk. And then let's Kargan and let's buff up Kargan once. And next turn, we can also Bolt, Dualcaster, Bolt, Enlighten Tutor. Well, that's kind of a crazy one. Are we going to see an Oblivion Ring here or a Courser of Crufix? No, Soul Ring. Okay, so my opponent is back on the ramp plan. And nothing? Holy shit. Okay. Let's just put Kargan up to level 4, I think. And we'll keep open Lightning Bolt. And plan on playing Zergo. I mean, my opponent can't interact here with just green mana. So we get to hit them for 6. I feel like I might want to level this up. Well, no, I only need 4 mana to level it up next turn, too. Alright, I'm going to play... Zergo plays into Wrath. You know what? I'm going to level up the Dragon Lord. It gains Fire Breathing at the last level, too, right? Okay. So now I have Lethal on board. Even if they play a ground creature. Opponent needs a Wrath of God. Or just a Flyer. Flyer would work if my opponent could play like Killer Bees or something next turn. Even still. Okay, they're going to scoop it up. Yeah, we had 6 points worth of burst in hand, which means we only needed to draw like a Fire Blast or a Shrine. We were drawing pretty dead, but luckily we did enough early on. And Kargan Dragonlord was definitely a good card to have in a flooded hand. Maybe I should be playing Chandra. No, we're only playing 16 lands. Never mind. It's a 16 land deck. Yeah, I'm not going to change anything. I'll take this free time here to plug my emote that you get for subscribing. Pretty sweet emote. The fingers crossed. Yeah, Killer Bees could have done it. Think you're on a little bit of a delay there, Atog. Though it could be my fault as well. Oh yeah, I'm even on a delay when I'm watching my rebroadcast. Refreshing might be okay. This hand's a little bit slow, but it's got a Sulfuric Vortex, which seems great against the green decks. Alright, and my opponent's hand seems super fast. Yikes, okay. Well, I kind of also want to save Searing Spear to be able to dual caster it on turn 5. I know. Alright, X equals 3. That is pretty good. What are you grabbing? Hopefully no Courser. I think I can beat Courser too. Oops. I think I can beat Courser as well. No, it's Mana Gorger. Everybody loves their Mana Gorger Hydra. That card can definitely win the game, though. I'm going to Searing Spirit. I think we'll have enough damage push. Though dual casting a Char is pretty awkward, especially when we are getting a Sulfuric Vortex. Alright, my opponent's got an 8-8. I think they're going to win this one. An 8-8 is pretty big game. That would have been insane if I had waited and Searing Speared in response to them putting all the counters on it. Damn. So Ferric Vortex pretty much means I'm dead, but I'm not sure how else I can win the game. Need to draw, like, Path to Exile, even though I didn't draft it. Yeah, I think we're going to lose this one. Probably should have just mulliganed now, in hindsight. Alright, Voice of Resurgence, that's pretty good too. We go down to 10, and we draw another land. Let's scoop it up. Does that make me want to change anything? I think not. Opponent's deck is green. Excuse me, is green, but I don't want to mess with it. Yes, we'd like to be on the play here for game 3. Alright, this hand is entirely burn, so let's count it up. 3, 6, 10, 14, 16. And we have a Magma Jet to scry, and we need to find 4 more. Alright, I'm going to give it a shot. Mulliganing with burn can be a little bit tricky. I'm not sure if I have time to bolt the birds here. Soul Ring again. I mean, that's really why we're losing. Soul Ring is just an insane card. I'm going to bolt my opponent. Let's get these cards out of our hand. Alrighty. Maybe I will Magma Jet a Mana Gorger if they play it here. I think I might have to. At the very least, I'll Magma Jet them in response. Alright, 4 mana. Sword of Fire and Ice. That is Sword of Fine. End of turn. Let's Magma Jet them. Burst Lightning is good. So let's take it. Now all we need to do is draw 2 damage. Right? Yeah, this is 11. Yeah. So I can Burst Lightning and Boros Charm my opponent right now. That means I need to find a Goblin Guide or a Monastery Swift Spear. Alright, they're going for a Gear Hulk. I could, in response, kill Gear Hulk. That will leave me with 8 damage. Or I hit my opponent for 5, put them down to 10. And then I need to find, like, Chain Lightning or a Hasty Creature. The problem is I can't attack this turn either. They're going to tap the Soul Ring. They're going to draw some cards. They're going to hit me for a whole bunch. I only have 1 more turn. But if I kill this, I'm going to have a whole bunch more turns. Alright, I'm going to kill it. Kind of wish I could kill it with Magma Jet plus Burst Lightning instead. Still good value for my opponent. They get a 2-for-1 against a burn deck. It's just such an oppressive clock here. Alright, Ancient Tomb's a really bad draw. But nothing I can do against that. I can now actually cast Fire Blast, though, so maybe that'll be relevant. Or maybe just having more mana could help us if we draw, like, Shrine. I think this is going to buy us 3 turns. So the question is buying us 3 turns worth it? Yeah, I could have Fire Blasted in response. Seems not worth it. This is now like a 4-turn clock. Alright, mountains are horrible, though. What happens if I draw a Swift Spear? Can swing for 3, put them down to 4. Well, I have a few turns here. It's not like I just have one turn. My opponent has me on a 3-turn clock right now, but they're going to play another card and put it onto a 2-turn clock? No, they're not. Alright, Chain Lightning, that means I'm off by 2. I'm going to hold off on it and try to draw a Hasty creature next turn. Hasty creatures are the only creatures that are relevant. We would have been dead, though, if I went on the... If I didn't kill Gearhulk, we'd be dead. Maybe not. Maybe I could have kicked the Burst Lightning. I mean, kick Burst Lightning would have been enough. All right, we're dead next turn. And my opponent's all done. Oh, I should have Boros Charmed them end of turn. Did I just lose the game because of that? 1, 2, 3. No, I have just enough to cast everything? Holy shit. Okay. Well, hopefully my opponent doesn't have any counter magic. I 100% should have Boros Charmed them end of turn. 4 damage to target player. This is crazy. Oh, I even had 1 less turn because I needed to use my Ancient Tomb. My opponent thinks they're safe. We're tapped out. Oh, my poor opponent. Wait. How is that not enough? This wasn't enough? Oh, it was 14. Oh, God. Wait, I had another turn then, too. I could have just not used Ancient Tomb. Oh, God. All right. Like I said, Burn is hard to play. Let's see what happens. If I draw 1 more card, could we have won? Goblin Guide. Haste. Yep. So I should have just cast everything that wasn't... Or cast whatever was the most mana-efficient cards that turn. Wow. And Goblin Guide would have been enough because it would have triggered the Morbid off this too. I just had to not tap Ancient Tomb and I won that game. Alrighty. Burn's tough. That's embarrassing. Alrighty, hopefully we can get an easier match this time, aka just draw more 1-drop creatures. Not quite, but this hand's still pretty good. We have Selfless Spirit to protect our Kargan, and our opponent mulled down to 6. So that's reasonable as well. I think they're on the play. Nope, we're on the play. Sounds good to me. Alright, my opponent gets to try to be on the play, though, here with Mox Diamond. Wow, Mox Diamond, Suspend Ancestral. That's pretty bold. Alright, I'm going to go Selfless Spirit. Pretty sure we're racing the Mox with this hand. Just grab a Plateau and play Selfless Spirit here. Selfless Spirit's going to protect Kargan, which I think is worthwhile. This is a really bad hand for my opponent against an aggressive red deck. Alright, looks like it is mostly working out for them now as they get to cast a 2-drop. And that's going to be Birol. Okay. Well, Birol's going to stop a ground creature, but he's not going to stop this flyer, so... Smack for 2. And then let's play 2... Figure of Destiny variants. We'll figure out what the best use of our levels up are next turn. I think we have to turn figure at least into a 2-2, so it might just be worth turning it into a 4-4. It might also be worth Searing, Spearing, Birol. Seething Song, alright, my opponent's doing it. I mean, getting to untap with Birol is pretty good. What is this? 6 mana? No, 7 mana. Mind Twist. Alright, I appreciate that. We could have cast Burst Lightning turn 1, and I didn't. So a little bit punished for that, but you know what? These are 3 really strong creatures to have on the board. I am going to level up figure to a 2-2. And that's enough to allow us to attack here. And then I'm just going to pump up Kargan 2 more post-combat. My opponent doesn't block it all because I still had mana open. And they really don't want Birol to die. Well, the fact that they really don't want Birol to die makes me feel like I want Birol dead. Ancestral is going to come into my opponent's hand next turn. We have a 1-turn reprieve from that. Ooh, Demonic Tutor for anything they want. I should turn off my auto yields again. Just in case. Thank you, Atog. Appreciate it. I will maybe see you tonight, if you're still here. Wheel of Fortune. Okay. Well, my opponent's doing it, but Mind Twist, Wheel of Fortune is not a combo. AK, next turn we get to unload on them. Oh, they don't even get to untap their lands with Wheel of Fortune, right? Alright, so Chain Lightning seems pretty decent. Monastery Swift Spear seems like it's going to be pretty decent as well. I think I do want to just Chain Lightning Birol. It's going to let me get in. Will I have lethal? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yes, we do have lethal. So we Chain Lightning Birol. We Lightning Strike face, and then we swing for 9. Yeah, Wheel of Fortune's pretty bad against red deck wins, I have to say. Mind Twist seems good, but Wheel of Fortune, no bueno. Thalia seems great. All right, we've got the hate cards. Wheel of Fortune seems probably bad. We don't have any sideboard cards. Who am I kidding? This is a red deck, baby. All right, finally some 1-drops. Turn 1, Jackal Pup. Turn 2, Swift Spear, maybe into something else as well. Keep this hand. Inquisition going to take Jackal Pup, probably. Or maybe just Sulfuric Vortex. Sulfuric Vortex also seems pretty good here. I don't know. It's a burn deck. I mean, Inquisition is definitely good against burn. They do go for the Sulfuric Vortex. It's the hardest card to defend against. Yeah, let's play Pup first. Next turn, probably just going to play Swifty and Zurgo. Could also play Swifty, Winter Orb. Kind of like that. Swifty gets to attack through Dark Confidant. Jackal Pup can trade with it. Dark Confidant's always at a weird point against burn. I think I want to just keep clocking my opponent, though. I don't want them to get any Dark Confidant triggers. Yeah, I'm going to attack into it. So we'll power up Swift Spear. I think we are probably trading with Bob here with the Jackal Pup. No, my opponent takes it. Bob trigger. Alright, Mystical Tutor's not a huge deal. But we also are land deathing them, which is pretty cool. Next turn I can dash Zurgo, or I can Brimstone Volley them. I think I like the Brimstone Volley. Can also Brimstone Volley Birol. Well, Birol is going to keep Jackal Pup from attacking straight up now. Though Brimstone also could get Morbid. My opponent knows about Brimstone Volley. Yes, this is 5 damage to the face. I think I just like Brimstone volleying Birol and attacking my opponent for a few points of damage here. We let Birol survive last game. Let's see what happens this game if we kill Birol. My opponent also only gets to untap 1 land. Alright, they're taking a pretty aggressive line here. They untap Dark Slick Shores, reveal Grim Tutor to Dark Confidant. That's not a card you want in this matchup. I think we have lethal like next turn. My opponent needs to chump block with Dark Confidant soon. Yeah, Winter Orb is definitely being a great magic card here. We're going to untap our mountain and probably just dash in Birol. Or I guess I'll untap Plateau, right? Alright. Mystical Tutor grabbing Yawgmoth's Will. They still have to kill this Winter Orb. Yep, they just wanted to show it off before they conceded. Sounds good. Round 3. What do we got here for round 3? No 1-drop again. Thalia on the draw. Also 4 lands. I'm going to mulligan. Alright, this hand's... This hand's a hand. Turn 1 Zurgo, turn 2 Char. Oh, they got a Birds of Paradise. Alrighty. Turn 1 Zurgo is still pretty good. Okay, we have turn 2 Thalia as well. I maybe should have held on to the basic in case they have a Wasteland. But... Or played the basic in case they had a Wasteland. Is what I mean. Ancient Tomb makes it so that Thalia is not going to affect us. Probably. Shardless Agent, that is a really good one. Umezawa's Jite. Alright, well, I think we've lost. Oh, wait, First Strike. First Strike! Oh, I don't know why I played Ancient Tomb. I was too excited. First Strike means Umezawa's Jite can't get online here. They're going to need something else. Yeah, I was dumb. If I lose the game by 2 life points, I'm an idiot. It might even affect us next turn, not being able to play a double red spell next turn. No, that's probably not relevant. 3 mana. What's this? True Name Jite? Wow. Naming NoLucksGiven. What a good name. It is a pretty good name, but... Alright, I guess we don't really get punished here then. But Jiete is going to get online, kill Thalia, Selfless Spirit. Wow. And Thalia interacts poorly with True Name Nemesis too, right? I don't even think I'm going to play Selfless Spirit. Oh, Thalia's in play. Wow, so this Ancient Tomb actually cost us 4 life points now. That's going to be super relevant. I could have 4 more life points right now. I could have attacked with both dudes there. They just get to trade off Shardless Agent for Zergo. Yeah, this is really bad. Yeah. Yeah. I'm dead in 2 more hits here. Char also cost me 2 life points. Oh gosh. Yeah, my opponent's gaining 4 life per turn. You know what? Let's scoop it up. Spellskite! Jeez Louise. Alright, let's get out of this one. Concede, and let's see what we can do for game 2 here. Again, this deck does not really actually have a sideboard, so not really even worth looking at for a second longer. My opponent's going to have a sideboard, though, for sure. Any cards that gain life. That seemed like a really good draw against our deck. It's time we get to be on the play. Still no 1-drops. Let's mulligan this into a 1-lander with an Avalanche Riders. This is already a mold of 5. I'm going to keep it. And we're just going to look for another land here. Alright, I'll Burst Lightning the bird if they have it. Kargan Dragonlord is really good, even though Avalanche Riders is pretty bad. Alright. So take out the bird and then untap and play Kargan one time. There we go, baby. NoLucksGiven. Let's do it. Yeah. 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 Alrighty. Okay, we stopped my opponent from doing anything on turn 3, which is good. My opponent had a lot of 3-drops in their deck. And let's just attack them for 2. See if they have any ways to interact before we spend our turn pumping. So we pump it this turn, we pump it next turn. It's already a 4/4. Kargan Dragonlord is one of those cards that I talked about that can sometimes just win games, especially if unanswered. Enlightened Tutor. Jiete or Shardless Agent? Probably just Jiete. But if it's not Jiete True Name, we can interact a little bit better, maybe. Umazawa's Jiete. We could also make a 4/4, which helps us against Jiete. Shardless Agent this turn. Mirren Crusader. Okay. I'm going to Chain Lightning that, for sure. Wooded Foothills is a pretty great draw. Means we get to put a Selfless Spirit on the board as well. So let's kill that. Let's keep him off of Jiete for a turn. And let's smack just for 2 again, but next turn we're going to have 6 power worth of flyers. Opponent's not going to play the Jiete. That's interesting, especially when they have a man land, but they're going to try to keep it secret. I'm going to blow up Lumbering Falls, I'm pretty sure here. Yeah, it also cuts them off double green. Alright, that seems great. Come on, red deck wins. Let's get there, baby. Counterspell? Nope, they are going to throw in a Vendilion Click, though. I guess they're going to take a look at our last card. Maybe they'll target themselves just to try to hit another land. No, they are going to target us. I don't know if they let us keep Dualcaster or not. So all my opponent has to do is block Kargan Dragonlord this turn, and we're only hitting them for 2 damage, because I will sack Selfless Spirit to protect Dragonlord. They let me keep Dualcaster Mage. Figured they would. Destroy target land. Yes, let's blow up this Lumbering Falls. Oh shit, wait, we want them to try to trade with Kargan Dragonlord. Yeah, we have to attack with everything. I don't even think they're going to block, because they're going to try to hit a land and play Jite on their turn. And if they didn't... if they didn't click themselves, it means that they probably have a 4th land as well. But we get to hit them for 6. Hopefully we get to trade. Nope, nope. Alright, so... here comes Jite. Selfless Spirit cannot protect my Kargan Dragonlord from Jite. And my opponent gets to swing for 3 in the air. Alright, well, luckily Dualcaster Mage is still really good. My opponent might not realize just how good it is. Alright, they're going to kill Selfless Spirit, that makes sense, and then gain 2 life. But that means we get to pump up Kargan Dragonlord this turn. So let's not Echo. No. Yeah, let's play Shrine and pump up Dragonlord. Alright, I'm into it. Yeah, I think they maybe wanted to just take out Dragonlord before I got to make it into a 4-4. Get to hit them for 4 this turn and 8 next turn. Now, of course, my opponent can gain enough life points to get them out of that. But then they still have to deal with an 8-8 fire-breathing flyer. What do they have? Baneslayer? Batterskull. Alright, well, that's a good one. That's going to help. But I'm actually not sure if it's good enough. It's going to be... this game's going to be really close regardless here. Yeah, I don't want to use Jackal Pup. We'll use Jackal Pup next turn maybe with the Shrine. If the Shrine's even better than just fire-breathing my opponent. I think my opponent may have made a mistake, but we'll see. They get to gain 4 life in response. And then they put Batterskull on Vendilion Click. Wait, maybe I can't attack. Well, no, I have to attack because I can't block this. Never mind, they're going to be able to race us. They get to gain 8 points of life link with just this. And then this gains 4. Yeah, they're gaining a bunch of life here. Alright, we need Shrine to... we need to draw Fire Blast. I'm not sure if anything else... oh, Fire Blast is really good because we have Dualcaster as well. Yeah, Fire Blast lets us... that's 8 points of burn. Wow! Double strike. Where are they putting the double strike? On the Germ or the Click? I think they're both just as good as the next. Equipping Batterskull also would have been quite fantastic. Oh, they have lethal here, don't they? I think they had lethal if they just pump with the Jite. Yeah. Alright, well, they missed lethal. That's good. But they are currently at... Yeah, we need to draw Fire Blast. Sulfuric Vortex. There's no way Vortex is enough. They'd have to be like F6'd or something. Yeah, they get to gain 8 life in response. I can hit them for 3 more points of damage. Kargan Dragonlord is the most damage I can do, right? Jackal Pup Shrine is 4 mana for 3 damage. Yeah, I can just hit them for 12. What if I drew Lightning Bolt there? No, I needed to draw exactly... Fire Blast. There's no way they're F6'd either. Yeah. I gotta hope that they, like, let Sulfuric Vortex resolve. Holy shit! Oh, they're gonna shrink it with Jite. Wait, is that enough? I give it Fire Breathing. Oh, they're trying to gain life! They're trying to gain life! Oh, we needed them to try to gain life once, and now they can shrink this 3 times, but then I Fire Breathe it, and they die on their upkeep. Oh my gosh. Oh, that's so good. We Fire Breathing, they shrink it again. So we're going to be hitting them for 7 here. Wow. Or we hit them for 6. We hit them for 6. And then on their upkeep, they die. Holy shit. Wow. Wow. All right, game 3. Let's go, baby. That was crazy. That is probably not going to happen again. And my opponent looks to have a lot of ways to find that Jite. They might even have Stoneforge Mystic. But at the very least, they have Enlightened Tutor. Still nothing I can do but click Submit and hope it's good enough. Alright, this hand has Sulfuric Vortex. Do I keep a hand that just has Sulfuric Vortex in it? On the draw. This hand's already kind of a mulligan because we have 4 lands. But we can Lightning Strike Dualcaster Mage later on. You can also Dualcaster Mage and copy an Enlightened Tutor to go get Sulfuric Vortex. That's kind of funny. It's not going to come up here, clearly. I'm going to keep this. For my opponent mulliganing, I think I can keep a hand that's a little bit slower and just solid. My opponent does keep their 6, but they put a card on bottom. Do they have the turn 1 Bird? They don't. They have a turn 1 Preordain. That's a lot slower. Turn 1 Preordain is definitely a warm welcome. And will we draw a Zergo Bellstriker? We do not. Can't even draw a Jackal Pup. Never lucky. Though it's hard to say never lucky after that last game. Alright, they've got a bird now. I could Lightning Strike it now, but I am just going to go on the Sulfuric Vortex plan. What do they got for us? Double white, is this Mirren Crusader? Huh. Alright, it's nothing. Magma Jet is pretty reasonable on Birds of Paradise, but Magma Jet kills everything. Looks like my opponent might be Vendilion clicking us on our end of turn here instead. That's fine. We'll just use our burn on... Yeah, this is a Vendilion click end of turn. So, I think they might take Lightning Strike from us. Alright, they do indeed. So Lightning Strike is gone, but we've got Swift Spear and a Magma Jet. Alright, Ancient Tomb is good for us too. It's not really a land they can totally get away with using here. And Jite and Batterskull are both offline now. Alright, Jite is just a clock. But it is still annoying, don't get me wrong. As they move to equip it here, means that they can kill Monastery Swift Spear before we get to connect with it. So they know we have Magma Jet, but they played poorly last game. We might convince them to play poorly again. I'd love to get Kargan Dragonlord online too. So the goal here is to get them to use their Swift Spear, or use their Jite counters on Swift Spear. At which point we Dragonlord them. Or at which point we Magma Jet and kill Vendilion. I don't know why I said Dragonlord. So we swing. Want them to kill with Jite before damage. Looks like that's not happening. Huh. So I could play Dragonlord now. That would mean they use all of their Jite counters to finish off my two guys. At which point next turn I get to go Dualcaster Magma Jet. Which isn't great. But it could be okay. Might just have to power through a Jite here. Alright. I don't have any better plays. Not going to beat the Jite if I just let it sit there. We don't have any artifact destruction. It's going to be annoying if Jite is still good enough. Alright, they're going to kill Kargan Dragonlord. Looks like Swifty. Yeah, if we get to untap with Swifty, that could still provide us a lot of damage. Because we could get two prowess triggers off the Magma Jet. We don't cast a copied spell, though, right? Is this a Mirren Crusader? No, it's a Qasali Pride Mage for the Vortex. Alright, that's going to do us in here, then. They floated a bunch of mana accidentally. That's fine, no blockers. Getting an Exalted trigger, too, is pretty good. Alright, they're going to let Sulfuric Vortex hit me for 2. That makes sense. And then they're going to go and go. Okay. How do I want to interact with this the best? Not sure. I don't think there's anything I can do here. Yeah. That's a free roll for them. So I'm going to Magma Jet. Vendilion Click, holding priority in response. So will they save Vendilion Click in response? I don't think they will. We could leave them with just Birds of Paradise. That's probably still good enough. Like, if we just kill all their creatures, then they pump with Jite in response to save it. So I don't think I can afford to do that. Yeah. Huh. Alright, they're going to save it in response. And I'm going to try to kill it again. Alright, they're just... Well, that means I can put the second one in its head. And I can choose different targets now. Yeah, we're going to put the target on their face. And now I get to scry 4. Is Burst Lightning good enough? Yeah, it's 4 damage. And this one gets countered, but that's fine. Alright, so we drew 2 cards off Magma Jet because we didn't need these lands. Put on top. But with my opponent still on 13 life and me not having a Sulfuric Vortex, that is pretty much going to be it. I'll stay in it for a few more seconds here. Oh, Double Strike seems insane. That means they have lethal this turn if they want it. Sounds good. That's all I got. Thank you guys very much for watching. I will see you next time. Let me throw this up on the screen here. Thank you guys very much for watching. I'll see you next time. I am NoLucksGiven. If you have not already, you can check out my YouTube channel. Also, make sure to follow along to my Twitch channel. You can check out my YouTube channel there. I post